Huntingdon Bearcat football is brought to you by Huntingdon Moose Family Center, number 223, the heart of the community. Penn Highlands Community College, located on Margie Drive, Huntingdon. By Brenneman's Meat Markets, Huntingdon and Mount Union. The Huntingdon County Drop-In Center at 512 Washington Street, Huntingdon. And by former Pittsburgh Steeler Ike Taylor of the NFL Network, debuting The Ike Taylor Show September 7th worldwide on the airnetwork.net. And now, time to go live for Bearcat football with Chad States and Jim Zauzig for tonight's game exclusively on the airnetwork.net.
And good evening and welcome to War Vets Field on this absolutely picture-perfect night here in Huntingdon. As the Huntingdon Bearcats, who are 1-0 by virtue of a 29-15 victory over Mount Union last week, are set to take on the Red Raiders of Bellefonte, who are 0-1, losing their home opener to Jersey Shore 33-28. I'm Chad States. I'll be the color man for tonight. I'm here alongside former Bearcat head football coach Jim Zauzig, who will be giving you the play-by-play. And Jim, welcome to this evening's game, and again,
it is a good night for it.
It is a great night for that. If we look
at the first 10 minutes from experience, the sun will still be in the eyes of the people going left to right. That'd be north to south, but by 7:15, the sun should be down and out of our eyes.
And the good thing is, it won't be in you or my eyes this week either. We won't be fighting the sun or anything like that. Last week, Huntingdon defeated Mount Union, as I said, 29-15. The Bearcats showed a nice offensive balance, racking up 217 yards, 118 of them on the ground by Ian Border, along with a 112-yard passing performance from quarterback Andrew Hootie. We're going to take a quick pause here for the national anthem. The Bearcat defense was up to the task, limiting Mount Union to 86 rushing yards. Jim, the key to, I think, tonight's game is for Huntingdon to really stop that passing game. We'll take a pause here for the national anthem. It was a very nice, rousing rendition of the national anthem by way of the Huntingdon area marching Bearcats. So again, last week, Huntingdon showing nice balance on offense, 217 yards rushing, 112 yards passing through the air by sophomore quarterback Andrew Hootie. However, the Mount Union defense did have some success passing through the air against the Huntingdon defense, as they lit up the scoreboard for 2 touchdowns on 188 yards. So tonight, Jim, I think Huntingdon really has to look at stopping the pass.
All right, I was just going to say the focus for Huntingdon is their secondary tonight. I was trying to watch the Bellefonte quarterback during pregame to see what kind of arm he has or what kind of passing. They do run the spread offense, which means they must have the ability to get vertical, get downfield. And if they scouted us last week, that might be something that's in their game plan to throw the ball deep every now and then.
Well, and Bellefonte did show that. They were down 27-0 at the half to Jersey Shore, only to come back and lose that game 33-28. Their quarterback, Chase Gardner, was a 17-25, 245 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was also sacked 13 times in that game. So it's kind of a tale of two halves when you look at it from Bellefonte's point of view. But they do have the ability to go vertical. We're going to see how Huntington's defensive line matches up with Bellefonte, which I think, after looking at this game, is the key to it. If Huntington's defensive line can get pressure on Gardner, I think that's going to be. I think it could spell victory for the Bearcats.
Well, the one thing I did not do last week, I'll try to do more of this week, is watch the linebackers. Defending the wing T is different than defending any other offense. And Huntington runs 80% of the time a wing T offense. And what that means is the linebackers for Bellefonte have to cross read. They don't read the running back in front of them. They have to read across, because a lot of times on a wing T, the running back that's on the left is going to come right, and the running back on the right will go left. So you have to cross read. Well, that's tough to do when 90% of the year you're reading the people that are in front of you. And now you're asked to cross read, and that's tough to do. I mean, I talked to Tom Rogish up at IUP years ago. I said, what do you do when you're defending the wing T when you play slip or not Slippery Rock, but Shippensburg. Shippensburg runs the wing tee. And he said, this is tough for us because we have to cross-read instead of just reading the people in front of us. That's one thing I want to keep an eye on tonight with Bellefonte's defense.
Could be one of the keys to the game. Last year, Huntingdon defeated Bellefonte 27-6 and lead the overall series 41-20-1. That's a series that started back in 1917. So these two getting ready to get it settled up here, and we will come back in a couple minutes. You are listening to Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net.
Brenneman's Meat Markets are celebrating nearly 70 years in providing Huntingdon County with quality USDA-approved processed pork, chicken, and beef products. Brenneman's has 2 locations in the county where the tradition of the finest meats are found in the region. Stop by Brenneman's Huntingdon weekdays from 8 to 6, Saturdays 8 to 3. Mount Union, open 9 to 5 weekdays and 9 to 2 on Saturdays. Choose specials of $10 to $50 meat packs containing your favorite meats. Or stop by and ask about our select custom cuts, prepared and packaged while you wait. Brenneman's Meat Markets in Huntingdon and Mount Union. Call our office at 814-643-2751 for specials and more information.
Pennsylvania Highlands Community College provides you the option to earn an associate degree, diploma, or certificate at an affordable cost. The Penn Highlands Huntingdon Center, located on Margie Drive in Huntingdon, offers degree programs in business management, criminal justice, liberal arts and sciences, and psychology. Are you ready to take the next step on your career path? Contact Penn Highlands Huntingdon at 814-643-6200 or visit Penn Highlands Community College online at pennhighlands.edu.
Join 2-time Super Bowl champion Ike Taylor, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the Ike Taylor Show beginning Wednesday, September 7th, then at 8 p.m. each week right here on the airnetwork.net. Ike Taylor and Pittsburgh sports columnist John Harris continued their 6-year broadcast relationship, discussing the Steelers and the NFL every Wednesday from 8 to 9. Plus, you'll hear special guests, including current and past players, plus football experts from around the league and more. It's the Ike Taylor Show, coming to the home of the Huntingdon Bearcats, Wednesday, September 7th from 8 to 9 p.m. worldwide on the airnetwork.net.
Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 has served the citizens of Huntingdon over 100 years. The Moose family at 307 Allegheny Street, Huntingdon, invite you to become a member and enjoy our various social activities, including Wing Night, the 4th Friday of each month, Taco Night, and loads of entertainment, like live entertainment from Reboot on Saturday, September 10th from 8 to 11 p.m. Find out more about becoming a member of the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Check us out on our Facebook page.
And now, back to Huntingdon Bearcat football on the airnetwork.net.
All right, we're back at War Vets Field. I'm Chad States, along here with former Bearcat football coach Jim Zauzig. And Jim, last week was quite warm. This week, it's about 75 degrees. It's a beautiful night, as we had mentioned. But last week was quite warm. One of the things that we saw in last week's game was an awful lot of cramping. Officials would take timeouts during the game to give these guys an extra breather, make sure that they had their fluids, but we saw an awful lot of cramping. One of the things that I looked at that might have been a contributor, and maybe you can talk a little bit more about this, was these guys didn't have as many weeks to prepare for that first game as you normally have in years previous. And I'm wondering if that didn't play a part into what we saw a little bit last week.
That played a big part. That played a big part in what was going on last week. Not only was there a lot of sweating and cramping going on the sideline, but the play got a little sloppy because they're a week behind. I'll explain why that happened here in just a second. But the other thing that was happening, there's some turnovers. There were 8 turnovers by Mount Union. Fortunately, they recovered 6 out of the 8, but they lost 2 out of the 8 or 9, whatever it was. What happened, and I'll go ahead and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. The schools in Pittsburgh, the WPIAL, said to the PIAA, we are not moving our playoff schedule. The rest of the state's going to have to conduct things, or you want to make changes, you got to do it around those Pittsburgh schools. And what the rest of the state had to do, long story short, is back everything up a week. And now you're starting heat acclimation you almost have to have heat acclimation as being part of your 2-week preseason practice. But you're only going to get one scrimmage in. And what happens is this should be the opening night.
Right.
And we had to back up a week so that we can end where the Pittsburgh schools want the rest of the state to end, because they have a contract with Pittsburgh Heinz Field for their championships. And if you really get down to it, you talk to the coaches out there in Pittsburgh, they could care less about the state championship.
That's right.
I don't mean this is a black and white statement, but in general, they want to win the WPIAL championship at Heinz Field. That's their focus. And if they win it, okay, we got another game or two to play for the state championship. But that's their focus, and they're not going to budge from that. And they force the rest of the state to back up a week if you want to have a 10-game schedule. You want a 9-game schedule, then you'd start tonight.
Yeah, and that's kind of unfair to the rest of the state whenever you start looking at it. And again, it does explain a lot, because in last week's game, I think we saw 20 penalties for over 200 yards between the two teams. Mount Union fumbled 7 times. So, your point, it was a very sloppily played game. And that's a great point to make. And it's unfortunate that you have to cater to the WPIAL, but, politics are politics. And if the PIAA wants an effective championship, they've got to make sure that those schools are included in on it, albeit everybody else suffering.
Well, I wish I knew ahead of time. When we went out there 15 years ago and played Moon Township, and a lot of Huntington football people know about that night and the trip out there to Wexford at North Allegheny High School. And I met the people from the WPIAL. And if I would have known then what I know now, I would have given them, because what happened, it's a good old boy network out there.
Yep.
That's why that game was played in Wexford.
Yep.
And it should have been played closer to Huntington, still in the WPIAL, like Murraysville.
Indiana.
Yeah, Franklin region.
That's right.
Franklin, Indiana. Play it on this side of Pittsburgh and still play it in. But no, it's a good old boy network out there, and that's a tough one to break up. So the rest of the state has to abide to what happens in Pittsburgh.
Well, the coin toss has just happened. Huntington won the toss, is elected to defer. Bellefonte will receive the opening kickoff as we are getting ready to get set with that opening kickoff here momentarily.
Timmy Leitner.
Timmy Leitner
kicking off. He's all excited. He was 3 for 3 last week on extra points. And he found out he was like special teams player of the week on one of the newspapers.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice.
He's told after you kick it, you just jog down here. And most kickers, you're telling them to jog behind everybody and see where the ball carrier is going. You're the last resort. You sort of funnel that guy to the sideline and try not to hurt your leg.
It's always that age-old question: is a kicker actually a football player? You know what I mean? And now some of them were. When you had Andy Surratt punting for you, he was a football player. He wasn't just a punter.
Well, I know a guy that kicked the field goal, won the game, or put the team ahead by 3 points with 3 minutes left. So the coach said, "Well, you kicked the field goal. Go ahead and kick off." He went down there and shattered his ankle and never got a chance to kick again.
Not a good thing.
I think he's related to me somehow.
Could be. So we are all set here at War Vets Field.
Well, they're not respecting Timmy's leg here.
No, they are not.
They're standing almost at the 15-yard line.
Leitner has the Bearcats all on the line here, and we are just about ready for kickoff. Huntington versus Bellefonte.
All right, deep is Dexter Galashaw. Here's a kick. It's not going to Dexter. It's going to Fortney to the 20-25-30, and he crosses the 30 before being brought down by number 20, Adam Yoder. So it's first down for Bellefonte on the kickoff. Ball's going to be in the right hash at the 31-yard line. Elsewhere tonight, as last week everybody played a non-league game, like Chad said. Bellefonte played Jersey Shore last week and lost last week's game 33-28. Ball's on the right hash. They got split left. Huntingdon was going to show blitz up the A-gaps, and they jumped and offside. Yep, offside Huntingdon. Ball go out to the 36-yard line.
And I'm assuming that's something that they saw on film with Jersey Shore having success, having Gardner sacked 13 times last week, was that there's vulnerability in that offensive line, or you're not going to start the game quite like that.
No. If they're expecting them to throw the ball, they are in a spread. The ball's on the right hash. They got a tight slot on the short side, a wide slot. Now they come in motion. They're going to hand off on an end sweep on the short side of the field. Ooh, Ian Border knocked him out of bounds. He end up going backwards.
Wow, that was Jaden Boone on the carry there, and you're right. He felt that one for sure.
He got 5 yards, barely, but enough for the first down. But he met Ian Border right there at the 42-yard line. 1st and 10 for Bellefonte at their own 42-yard line. Ball's on the right edge. They now have a wide slot here to the wide side of the field on the left side. Huntingdon showing blitz are coming. And they get Calishaw in the backfield.
Nice tackle there by Alex Mikett in the backfield there.
You know, feeling, Mikett is one of the outside backers, but they're sending 2 inside guys right up the middle. And they're going to challenge that interior offensive line right now. Loss of 2, 2nd down and 12 for Bellefonte. We just started the game. 11-11 left in the first period. Huntingdon shifts from an odd front to an even front. Snap again, Calishaw off right tackle, nothing. Met there again, probably by the linebacker on that side with his Mikett.
Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. But one thing that Huntingdon showed last week, Jim, was the good ability to be able to stop the run. I mean, Martin from Mount Union was a good running back, and Huntingdon did a really good job of showing containment with him.
Yeah, as an outsider looking in with Mount Union's program, we won't see him the rest of the year, so I'd be curious how that develops because they didn't have a bad team there. That's going to win a couple of games. 3rd down and 12. He's looking to throw. Fade down the right sideline. Huntingdon has 2 people there. He catches it, but he's out of bounds. A long throw.
And we'll try and
down
catch
the right sideline to Cade Fortney.
Yep, intended for Fortney. Fortney went up for it. Again, here you're going to start to see the mismatches, and there's one of them where, Price is a very speedy young man, but he's given up 3-4 inches to that receiver who can just jump up and go after that ball. So I'd look for more of that to happen.
The safeties are playing deep enough that it's a textbook blackboard cover, too, where the safety got over and helped the corner on that. 4th down and 12. So Bellefonte never got into Huntingdon territory. Here's the punt. Good snap. Low punt. Hits at the 30. We're going to let it go. And that's Price.
Yep. Ball stopping
to let the ball go.
Ball stop at the 25, which is where Huntingdon will set up shop.
1st down for Huntingdon at the 25-yard line. Elsewhere tonight in the league, as everybody's in the league play now, Bellefonte, of course, is here. Tyrone and Central, big game at Central. They're the 2 teams that will be knocking with Clearfield, and hopefully Huntingdon be in that mix too. Clearfield's at Penns Valley, and Bald Eagle is at Phillipsburg. 1st down Huntingdon, the ball's on the left hash. A quick hitch out here to Price. Give him a little running room. Oh, if he could have broken that tackle. Jonathan Price gets it out to the 27. Huntingdon does pick up a couple on the hitch.
About 3 on the yard. 3, 2, give him 2 maybe.
You throw that hitch on the wide side of the field, you better have an arm to get it there. You don't want to float it out there.
That's right.
Price pick 6 easy.
4 catches for 34 yards last week against Mount Union.
Huntingdon with a tight end trips to the short side of the field here. We're going to go to the man on the island. He hooks up at the 35. He went down to a knee to catch it. And that was to Matt Sellers. But he went down at just short of the 35, and he needed to get to the 35. So it's 3rd and short. Does this show I formation here? My scouting report in Huntingdon last week said they go to the I 3rd and short.
Well,
whether they do or not, I got a feeling there Eden Bourne's going to get this ball.
Somebody like Border, I would believe that's the call you want to make.
Huntington ball's on the left half. Borders in the backfield. Tight ends on the right side here. They give it. No, they fake it the border. Booty up the middle. Nobody touches into linebacker level. Crosses the 50-yard line. A good call because, border is going to be the focus on Bellefonte's defense. So on the 3rd and short, we're going to fake it the border, and half of the student body for Bellefonte went after border. Booty kept it up the middle. Was hardly touched the first 15 yards before brought down cross into Bellefonte territory at Bellefonte's 47-yard line.
That's going to be a 19-yard gain for Hootie on that, too. So, as you said, you could drive a truck through that one.
First down, in motion. Handoff is Drew Weglars.
Yep.
And again, there's one of those situations where you got our Weglars on the left side, but when he takes a handoff, he comes back to the right side. And if your linebacker on this side is keying on Weglars, he should be there. If they're keying to people in front of them, the reverses later are set up. When you're upstairs here, you got your coaches up there watching their linebackers. Are they just reading people in front of them, or are they cross-reading? 2nd down and 8 for Huntington. We're inside Bellefonte's 45. There's a hitch on the left side, incomplete, little underthrown a little bit to Price. The hitch is just he takes a step forward and comes back for the ball. What you do with a hitch is you're trying to get your speed guys catching the ball out in space, try to break one tackle, and then you got some positive yards.
Are you a little surprised so far that Huntington has come out and thrown the ball 3 times, and so far through 5 plays, Border doesn't have a touch offensively?
I had to think. It's early in the game. I just say maybe they're just keying on Border early. I don't want to take the ball away from Border. We're under center now. Handed on the sweep to the right side to Glennie. And Noah Glennie gets that to the 35-yard line for first down. I got a feeling it won't take long. 7:40 left in the first period. And they're doing everything around Border right now. And they're successful right now. So
exactly right.
You don't want to be a team where you're easily read.
9-yard
goes to Border.
9-yard pickup on the play that time for Glennie.
1st and 10, Huntington. Border up the middle. And that linebacker was right on it for no gain. That was number 3. Stephen Kutch.
And that points to your there's your point right there. And then right. Border gets his first touch, and he's just stacked up at the line of scrimmage right away. And
so this is part of developing their offense. We got a good running back, a black and blue kind of running back, but we have to develop other parts of the game. 2nd down and 9, fake the Border. Hootie looking to throw. And Scheller was held up, no flag, and it's intercepted by number 5 on the sideline. We pushed him out of bounds, intercepted by Dylan Dietrich. Border made his V cut toward the sideline and was held up by the defender. He had his hands on him. I won't complain yet. But coming out of that break, there was hands on Sellers coming out of that break, and the ball was overthrown and intercepted by Dietrich. So Bellefonte has the ball at their own 22-yard line. First turnover of the game. Huntington in there for 2 defense up the middle. Force him to roll up. He throws underneath to number 12, and he goes out of bounds on the catch as Cade Fortney just did a 5-6 yard out, actually about an 8-yard out.
It's about an 8 yard.
Yeah.
8-yard pickup on that one.
No huddle here. They're going right to the line of scrimmage. Shotgun he's rolling to the wide side. He's got room. Nobody contained him. And he's going to keep it at 35-40 and out of bounds to the 42-yard line. Our D end did not contain him. Zeb. You've been down this road before as a defensive end. I got to see who the outside linebacker is here. If they ran the outside linebacker off, it's Zeb Fowler's part to keep him contained. And he got outside of the wide side. He had room to run.
13-yard pickup on the play for Gardner.
First attempt from Bellefonte at their own 43 again. Huntington showing blitzer. Get in there. They can't get their hands on the 2 missed tackles, 3 missed tackles, and he spun out of it and got 8 yards out of it.
That's Galashaw.
So Galashaw got 9 yards, and he broke 3 tackles. A little shiftier Galashaw than what they're used to last week with Martin, who is more of a black and blue kind of hard runner. Galashaw's got feet. 2nd and 1, ball's on the short side of the field. He's sacked by Border, and Huntington moves Border around. You don't want him in one spot, and he came off the edge this time. Nobody blocked him. So 2nd and 1. Now it's 3rd and 8 on the sack by Ian Border. And again, you got a defensive player like Ian Border. You got to move him around a little bit so your opponent doesn't know exactly where he is. Ian might be coming again. They hand it off on a zip, a jet sweep or a zip sweep.
Hand off to Boone that time.
So they had a 2nd and short and got nothing in the next 2 downs. In fact, they lost 8 yards. So Bellefonte got a little cute with the last 2 plays after having a 2nd and short.
Border's one of those instinctive players, and he's going to be hard to stop off of the edge. And you saw that he just took them right out of a nice drive there with that nice 7-yard sack of Gardner.
Oh, is at their own 46. Here's the snap. Sort of a rugby-style punt. And again, he's kicking for the sideline. He gets it out of bounds at Huntington's 31-yard line. So the Bearcats will have their second possession with 4:23 left in the first period. It's 0-0, and Huntington will have the ball for the second time.
So Huntington moved the ball very good the first time that they had it. Much better, in their opening drive this week as opposed to last week. I want to say Hootie, a little bit of an overthrow there, but really, when you look at it, the receiver got held up, and we now have
it's an official sign out for water.
Yep, officials timeout. So thanks to the Huntington Moose Family Center, number 223, Brenneman's Meat Markets, Penn Highlands Community College, Huntington Campus, D.C. Goodman's and Sons, and the Goodman family, the Huntington County Drop-In Center, and the Ike Taylor Show for presenting Bearcat football this season on the airnetwork.net. So, Jim, we're about halfway through this first quarter, a little bit more than halfway. From a coach's perspective, what are you seeing out here as far as, both offenses look like they're able to move the ball, make some mistakes here at the end, but
well, I think that Huntington's off on the right foot. They had a good first series, even though we overthrew a receiver, got intercepted. But you just sell it to the Huntington. If you're coaching Huntington, you just sell it that you're the better team. You've already shown it here in the first series. We got intercepted, but just be patient. You're going to score. And with 4:23 left, let me go out on the limb.
Sure.
Huntington's going to score in this position.
Okay. At their own 31-yard line.
Zip motion, fake it to him, give it to Border. Now Border's involved here. He gets it out to the 36-yard line. He got about close to 5, or a good 5, if not 6. Now you may see Border a little bit more involved in this series. 2nd down and 5. All right, 2nd and 6.
It actually is. It falls at the 35-yard line.
I'm still a little biased.
That's okay.
All right, fans, it's 2nd and 5.5. Checking in for Huntington is Nick Murray.
When I was doing this on the sidelines with Jeff Norris, and Jeff is here tonight, and I spoke before the game, and we would always listen to the announcer, and at that point in time, it was our former basketball coach, John Lawson, say, hey, John's either plus or minus 1 from what we're saying. We knew we were good.
That's that low press box over there.
Yeah.
2nd down, shotgun snap. Hootie's going to keep it. He's trying to get outside, and he got I think they wanted him to follow Border off tackle and just let the quarterback keep it like a quarterback knock. But Hootie missed the hole and tried to string it out, and Bellefonte was there. Andrew did get 2 yards on it. It's 3rd down and 3. Third and 3.
Yep, ball's at the 37. Bellefonte with 2 first downs in the game so far. Huntingdon with 2. See if Huntington's able to convert this 3rd down opportunity.
Ball's almost on the right hash. Wide side of the field left. Looking at the flat. Hootie can't throw it. He's sacked. So I'm 0 for 1 on predictions. 0 for 1 on the predictions. I'll come back later. He's sacked for a 6-yard loss. It's now 4th and 7. And Bellefonte brings in their punt return team. Huntingdon brings their punt team out. So 2:42 left in the first period. We have no score. Both teams had the ball twice. Good snap back to Hootie. He punts it up the right sideline. It hits out of bounds. I'm trying to see where the original line is.
It'd be roughly a 29-yard punt.
Right.
So he kind of shanked that one, giving Bellefonte good field position here, right at the 38-yard line. So not what Huntingdon wanted to do in that series at all, Jim.
I chuckle at this. What Coach Hootie's doing is trying to punt away from the one deep guy. That's why I hate to have one guy deep. But if you flip it around, we put one deep right now. That's why I always like 2 deep. So you have a chance to get a return on it. One guy deep, you just punt away from him, and nobody's going to return it. Bellefonte has it. They hand it off to Galashaw. He's trying to get outside. Huntington's got it strung out, and he works his way back to the line of scrimmage, maybe got a yard to the 40-yard line. And Galashaw is in there for a 1-yard gain. Now, Bellefonte's going right to the line of scrimmage, so a little bit of a hurry up on Bellefonte's part. They got the ball in the middle of the field. 2nd and 9, a wide slot to the right and a wing slot here to the left. He rolls right, and he completes a pass right at the first down marker. And it's Gardner's pass completed to Boone right at the first down marker at the 47-yard line. So they're short of the first down by a long one. And they're right to the line of scrimmage right now. The ball's on the right hash. Handed off to Galashaw. He got the middle. He's got the first down across 50 to the 45, down to the 40-yard line. And a first down. And now they want to run to the ball. You look at the Bellefonte sideline. They're telling them to go right to the ball. And they're ready to run another play. 1st and 10 for Bellefonte. The officials have to get ready. So don't go too fast, Bellefonte. The officials are still holding up Bellefonte. They're at the line of scrimmage, ready to run the play. The ball's on the right hash. A tight slot to the right, and a wing slot here to the wide side of the field. Takes a snap, hands it off to Galashaw. Huntingdon is on it. They have to bring him down. It's Border again. So you have what you're seeing with Border. He's the outside linebacker. He's on the wide side of the field. They're not going to put him on the short side of the field. They put him on the wide side of the field. Now the ball's in the middle of the field. Ian is now lined up on the left outside linebacker. 2nd down and 12. Bellefonte's in Huntingdon territory right now. They're pressing the receivers. He rolls left, trying to get outside. We do have a holding here, and we knock him out of bounds as Mikett was trying to get off of a block. And they did have a holding on Mikett, so interesting. He was knocked out of bounds. It would be 3rd down and 12.
But where this flag is, you're obviously going to take the penalty. It looks like it's occurring almost at midfield. So, it's going to be a significant loss, probably like a 17-yard penalty here is what you're looking at. It's a 10-yard penalty, but it's a spot foul. So you're looking at about a 17-yard penalty here, and you're definitely going to want to take that.
What you think about is they're going to help Gardner off the field, the quarterback. Actually, I'm not sure if he's walking a straight line. But anything, what you think about in these situations, even though Huntingdon will take this penalty, is do they have the ability to get that 10 yards back on the next play? And you just say, no, they don't have that ability, so take the 10-yard penalty. So they move the ball back to their own 40-yard line. So twice Bellefonte crossed into Huntingdon territory, but penalties took them back.
17-yard penalty.
So now you're looking at 10, 20, 30, just under 30 yards. Second down and 29 and a half. Bellefonte has the ball at their own 40-yard line. They have to get down to Huntington's 30 for the first down. So Huntington's showing 4 over 3 on the wide side of the field. And the quarterback's going to keep it, trying to run a quarterback draw. But the interior guys for Huntington was right there. When they spread the defense out, you're asking those 4 guys up front and maybe an inside linebacker. You got the dive and you got the quarterback draw.
And that was Krieger on the carry out of the Wildcat as Gardner had to come off for one play.
Right.
I'm sure he is returning right now. He is. He's actually coming back onto the field right now.
They're calling a timeout.
Looks like we're going to have a timeout by Bellefonte. Join us Monday, September 12th, for another season of Monday Night Sports Talk at 7 p.m. each Monday on the airnetwork.net. Yours truly, Chad States, along with Greg Banks, Dave Shannon, and Jimmy Tide, discuss the Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, Pitt, Penn State, and more from the world of sports. Each week exclusively here on the airnetwork.net. So Gardner had to take a break. They bring in the Wildcat, run for 2 yards, and we are still looking at third and what I like to call third and forever, Jim. This used to be the type of situation where, a nice big old Bearcat screen pass might come into play. Specifically with
the double screen.
The double screen whenever you were coaching. Not sure that Bellefonte has something like that quite in their playbook, but I've not seen the receivers really burn Huntington's defensive backs here. So it's going to be an interesting call as what they come out of the huddle with.
Well, they're showing the ball's on the left hash, so Bellefonte is showing trips to the wide side of the field. Huntington is coming out with 4 over 3 here. A cover 2 with we're right on top of the 3 receivers with a deep safety behind them. And we'll run one-on-one here on the island, the guy on the island. He's rolling right now. He's throwing back that screen pass. Good call. And if we don't get him, Border's there. And if Border doesn't make that tackle, they've got at least 10 to 15 yards. Good call by Bellefonte, but it's just Ian Border was the man there because nobody else from Huntington was there.
They're going to lose a couple, maybe 2. Looks like a loss of 2 on the pass play, and that'll bring up 4th down for them. So it was a good call. It's kind of, like I said, it's one of those ones where, hey, what would you do? And that's what they did. So
if he could have broken Border's tackle, I'm not saying he's going to get the first down, but he had at least 10 to 15 yards before another Huntington guy could get to him.
And that's one of those things, Jim, as we had talked about, that Border brings to the table.
Go ahead.
That's the end of the first quarter with your score. Huntington 0, Bellefonte 0. You've been listening to Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net.
Pennsylvania Highlands Community College provides you the option to earn an associate degree, diploma, or certificate at an affordable cost. The Penn Highlands Huntingdon Center, located on Margie Drive in Huntingdon, offers degree programs in business management, criminal justice, liberal arts and sciences, and psychology. Are you ready to take the next step on your career path? Contact Penn Highlands Huntingdon at 814-643-6200 or visit Penn Highlands Community College online at pennhighlands.edu.
Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 has served the citizens of Huntingdon over 100 years. The Moose family at 307 Allegheny Street, Huntingdon, invite you to become a member and enjoy our various social activities, including Wing Night, the 4th Friday of each month, Taco Night, and loads of entertainment, like live entertainment from Reboot on Saturday, September 10th from 8 to 11 p.m. Find out more about becoming a member of the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Check us out on our Facebook page.
Now back to more Bearcat football exclusively on the airnetwork.net.
Bellefonte getting ready to punt. Snap back. Huntington put pressure on him, but he got out of the way. Rice deep at his own 28-yard line, trying to get some running room, and they've got him corralled. Well, there's not much blocking. If you're sending the student body after the punter, if he gets it off, you're on your own back there because there's no blocking for you.
It's a lonely, lonely feeling, isn't it?
So Jonathan tried to get a couple yards there, but they had him corralled at the 30-yard line first down for Huntingdon at their own 30-yard line. Huntingdon breaks the huddle, ball on the right hash at their own 30-yard line. We got a tight end trips to the short side of the field, and Price is on an island here by himself. Now we come in motion. Price on a slant. He picked it off, and he went down. He waited too long on the slant. If you're going to throw the slant, throw it now. He waited too long, and the inside linebacker came out and picked it off. And it just waited long enough that linebacker was able to get underneath that slant.
It's his second interception of the evening. So Huntingdon coming out and showing the pass.
Yep.
Kind of a little bit surprised by that, but maybe they're just trying to show something different and not letting them key on Border like you had said. But that's
right.
Hootie's second interception in as many tries. And Bellefonte setting up shop in great shape now on our own on Huntingdon 38-yard line.
Yeah, they're. I can understand it in the first quarter, but as the game settles in here, I still want my money player to handle the ball.
And timeout by
might be out of timeouts.
Bellefonte. Well, that's the second timeout for them. The other one was an official's timeout, so they have one left. Listen to tonight's game again at 11 p.m. on the airnetwork.net. Also look for each Bearcat football game on our front page and our podcast tab for on-demand listening anytime online at the airnetwork.net. I'm also going to mention it coming up at halftime. Listen for the debut of a new song, Racetown Ray, written and recorded by Bill Dan and Jack Cervello during tonight's halftime show back at the studio. Hear the whimsical tune about the mythical monster that has been seen for decades on Racetown Lake. Also stay tuned at halftime for a preview of the Ike Taylor Show, which debuts this Wednesday at 8 p.m. exclusively on the airnetwork.net. This and more coming up at the half during Bearcat football exclusively on the airnetwork.net.
Well, Huntington's defense will be challenged right now after the interception by Bellefonte. Bellefonte has the ball at Huntington's 38-yard line. And Bellefonte showing in getting under center for the first time. Double tight end. They're running I formation. Oh, I formation. And good thing he blew the whistle from Border.
I'm kind of surprised that Galshaw's going to get up from that one because he got what they say blown up in the backfield. But now there's a penalty, and we'll see what that is.
Offside Huntingdon. Maybe that's why Border got into it. Offside Huntingdon. So it's 5 yards, first and 5, and now the ball's down at Huntington's 34-yard line.
It's Huntington's second penalty on the evening. So a little bit more discipline this evening as opposed to last, but that's to be expected in game number 2.
Well, the defense will be tested now with quarterback Gardner under center. They have a I formation, double tight end. Do they feel like they can run it right at Huntington? Nobody.
I guess they didn't learn their lesson because we just saw the same thing as Border blew up that play too.
Number 25, I hope his mother's not listening. Tyler Krieger is a fullback, and he's supposed to block Border, and he wanted nothing to do with Border. Border just ran through him and made the tackle in the backfield.
Well,
I mean, if you're going to run an I, you better have a fullback. And Krieger wanted nothing to do with it. And there goes Krieger out of the game.
Nope, he's just
why don't we play with 12?
Maybe getting some constructive criticism. No, he's getting the plays. He's bringing the plays in. So
we'll see what Krieger's at.
Yeah, it's setting up on a wildcat. No, Krieger's going under center here.
Going under center. Still in an I formation. And they're not
set. Yeah. Penalty flags on the ground.
They looked a little confused out there, and it cost them 5 yards. So again, Bellefonte trying to get something going here. They had great field position. They had a 3rd and inches here in the first quarter and end up losing in the next 2, or 2nd and inches. And the next 2 downs, they lost 9 yards.
Oh, they're going to have to do something in trying to block Border because he is running free out there. That's his 3rd tackle for loss already this evening, including one as a sack, Jim. So
Right.
They're going to have to solve that.
He's on the wide side of the field again. The ball's on the right hash. So Ian's on the wide side of the field, an outside linebacker.
Krieger's still taking the snap here, and another penalty.
Yeah, this is motion.
Not sure where did Gardner.
They didn't. They got down, and as they got down, then the guy went in motion.
Right.
If the guy wants to go in motion, let him get down for 1,000, then go in motion.
The Gardner came off the field. I don't know that I noticed him coming off the field, but he's clearly not out here. Krieger is the one who's taking direction from the sidelines.
Well, you remember when Gardner went off the field, I said he's not walking in a straight line.
Yeah, maybe something happened.
And maybe Krieger is the backup quarterback. Yeah, there is a QB there. He's running back, linebacker, quarterback. He's looking to throw. He's throwing over the middle. Intercepted by Huntingdon. The 40, 45. In the middle of the field. He's trying to get some running room. Was Drew Weglar's. And again, Bellefonte trying to go deep, but they don't have the arm to go deep. And I'm not sure if either quarterback has the arm to go deep. But they floated one out there, and Weglar is the safety. They're running a cover two, and that's what the safety's supposed to do. Float right over and pick that off. So we get a turnover, and we stop whatever threat Bellefonte tried to muster up. And now Huntingdon come out in a I formation, double tight end, knock right. When in doubt, go to the knock. Positive yardage out to the 50-yard line.
Porter for 2 yards, gives him 6. It's only his third carry of the evening, but that's a third turnover tonight. Huntingdon with 2 interceptions. Bellefonte now throwing their first. This one coming off the arm of the backup quarterback, Krieger. And again, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Chase Gardner. But if he's not able to play the rest of this game, it looks like, is that him with his pads off over there?
30-yard line, yeah.
That's him with his pads off over there. Bellefonte's in big trouble. He is.
Maybe it's not a bell rung. There's another I formation, border up the middle. And he's got nothing. Trying to blast. Just inside the tackle at the ISO hole. So both teams getting a little frustrated, and now both teams came out with double tight going to the center.
This is a big third down here for Huntingdon, Jim. If they're able to convert this and get some points, or get at least into position to get some points, I just think that this is a very, very important third down here early on in the ball game.
9:40 left in the first half. No score in the ball game. Under center. He snaps. He's looking to throw, and he's under pressure. He's sacked right away. Sacked for a 7-yard loss, and it's going to be 4th down. So they came off the right side. They got in on Andrew Hootie before he could set his feet to throw the ball. 4th down. Huntingdon, the ball was at their own 45-yard line. Good snap. Back to the punter. Nice punt this time by Andrew. They got him back to the 12-yard line. He received to the 15. Trying to get the left sideline. He's got it. To the 40-yard line, 45. Trying to get back in the middle of the field. Crosses midfield at the 50. To the 40. Hootie's trying to run him down. He does at the 35-yard line. But a good return by Jaden Boone. He went up to this, I think he caught him at the 15-yard line, wasn't it?
It's a 43-yard punt by Hootie, and let's get the return yardage here.
35, 45.
I have about a 54-yard return by Boone. So just took that punt completely away. A beautiful punt by Hootie that time, but an even better return by Boone.
There was no containment on the Bellefonte side of the field. He was able to get that sideline. And then as he came up the sideline, he saw the hole back into the middle of the field around midfield.
Boone's also the one who was responsible for the kickoff return that got called back last week that would have given Bellefonte the victory over Jersey Shore. But unfortunately, a block that was, from what I'm being told, happened 15, 20 yards behind the play called that back. So now we have it looks like I have been doing my homework. That's right. It looks like a official's timeout potentially out here. The Air Network welcomes 2-time Super Bowl champion and former Steeler Ike Taylor to our lineup every Wednesday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. Beginning Wednesday, September 7th. Join Ike and sports columnist John Harris, along with current and former NFL players and sports experts live every Wednesday evening at 8, exclusively on theairnetwork.net. So Bellefonte here in with good field position, but again, I'm not 100% sure what to expect out of the Bellefonte offense unless I see Gardner back out there, and I do. Gardner is back in the game now, Jim. So
it looked like more of a shoulder issue, because when they had the pads off of him on the sideline, he was working his shoulder. Back to a shotgun with Gardner, handed up the middle. Good feet by Galashaw, and he breaks it to the sideline to the 30, 25, pushed out of bounds. But he took the handoff. Right there was Ian Border, but he sidestepped Ian. The number 21, Dexter Galashaw, showed some good feet there and was able to elude Border's tackle and get outside of the wide side of the field and down to Huntington's 24-yard line.
11-yard pickup and a first down for Bellefonte.
Ball's now on the left hash, and it's about as deep as they've gotten in the Huntington territory. They now have a big fullback in there. Shaquem Lipskin. Shotgun snap. They're going to follow. Oh, Lipskin. But he was decked by Mikett on that side, or stood up by Mikett. And the linebacker made the tackle, but Alex Mikett took on that big fullback. Like I said, I don't think if they're going to run the ball, they better have a bigger fullback. And they put in Shaquem Lipskin, who is 5'9", 242. So that's a little bit bigger now at fullback.
Galashaw.
Yeah, they're in the shotgun now with Dexter Galashaw on the wide side of the field. Quarterback takes a snap, and they were mixed up back there, and he had to go down. Like I said, Galashaw was on the right side of the quarterback, and the quarterback Gardner looked to the left to hand it off, and there was nobody there. And so he took himself out of the play and just went down. But the line of scrimmage now moves back out to the 26-yard line, and it's 3rd and 11 for the Red Raiders. Ball's on the left hash. It's on Huntington's 26-yard line. Got to find out where Galashaw is now. He's on the left side, on the short side. Did you get that? And here we go. 3rd down and 12. Quarterback takes it, looks to the left. Now a little shuffle pass underneath. He's got his man. Huntington's all over him at the 20-yard line.
It's Tanner Helms on the reception.
Yeah, Tanner Helms on the shuffle pass. He just rolls left a little bit to get the end to come up on you, and then shuffles the ball forward. It is a forward pass to Helms. They got about 8 on the play, but it's 4th down and 4. 4th and 4. We're looking at 6.5 minutes left in the first half. Still no score in this ball game, as Bellefonte right now is looking to. It's the closest now of trying to get some points on the board, but it's 4th and 4. Takes a snap. He rolls it short side, thrown down the left sideline. It is knocked down. 2 Bellefonte receivers, 2 defenders over there. Darius Warner actually knocked it down. So on the incompleted pass, Huntington defense does rise to the challenge. As after the interception, Bellefonte, it's the one interception, the punt return.
Punt return. Big punt return.
Of over 50 yards. Got it into Huntington territory, but Bellefonte Red Raiders ran out of downs. We're at 6:16 left in the first half. Huntington takes over with no score in the ball game. Bellefonte in a 4-4 defense. Huntington goes in motion, handed off. Porter looking to cut back, and he cut right back into white jerseys.
They are all over him. As soon as he has the ball, white jerseys are surrounding him left and right.
1 yard for Ian.
Porter's 5th carry.
Huntington does have all 3 timeouts left. We're under 6 minutes now left in the first half.
5 carries for 8 yards for Ian Border on the evening. So definitely Bellefonte's game plan is, well, you will see it throughout most of the year, is to stop 44 and let the rest of them beat you.
All right. That's the challenge issue to Huntington. They got a tight slot to the right side. Wing left, fake to the wing. Now here's a comeback. There's that reverse. And he's trying to get outside Warner. He gets to the 26. And what you do for a quarter and a half there, you get a feel for their linebackers. And we had a temporary hold there. We did get some yardage on it after the 27-yard line. And it's now 3rd and 2. Good play call at that point. A little bit quicker into that hole, he might have had that left sideline.
Huntington faced with a 3rd and short here. They are currently 0 for 4 on 3rd downs this evening. See if they're able to convert this one.
Ball's on the left hash. 3rd and 2, motion. Moody's rolling to the right. He's under pressure. And he can't even get the ball. If they wanted to throw it or even run it. As soon as he rolled to the right, he was under an avalanche of about 3, if not 4, white jerseys. Andrew got nothing out of that. So it's 4th down and 7. And Huntington's punt team on the field right away. Andrew Hootie getting ready to punt the ball. 4:19 left, low snap. Andrew gets it off. Spiral, knocks him back. Boone gets it at the 40. He's trying to get to the wide side of the field. There's a block. No flag. There's another block down the left sideline now to the 40-30. 25-yard line where number 21, Noah Glennie, finally knocks him out of bounds. Apparently it was a good block back here. My eyes went off to the receiver because I wanted to see for any flags. But if he got his head in front, it was a good block. And they had another good block over there at the 50-yard line. And now...
and here we're going to see another situation, Jim, where the return negates the punt. That was a 38-yard punt for Hootie, but a 35-yard return for Boone again. And Bellefonte is once again setting pretty here at the Huntington 25-yard line.
The contained people are not keeping the guy boxed in. Bellefonte is taking a timeout.
Has to be their 3rd timeout, so that should be it for them.
On the scoreboard, they say there's no timeouts left, so they must be knowing what they're doing.
That's it. Thanks to Huntington Moose Family Center, number 223. Community College, DC Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family, the Huntington County Drop-In Center, and the Ike Taylor Show for presenting Bearcat football this season on the airnetwork.net. So, Jim, we're locked up in a 0-0 tie here. I would say that's kind of surprising to me. I got to believe that that's surprising to you as, it's just a knock 'em out, drag 'em out type of game. And
I got a positive feeling for the offense in the first period, but nothing is really materialized here in the second period. And right now, is it a Huntington issue or is it Bellefonte playing nice defense? Bellefonte, in my mind, is still in the recovery mode from what's happened over there in the last 7 years. First down, Bellefonte, shotgun snap. He's looking to the left side, trying to fade again. He's got his man into the end zone. Touchdown. We looked back too late on that left sideline. And again, they just ran the motion to the wide side of the field, leaving a man on the island. When I say he's on an island, he's one-on-one.
25-yard touchdown pass to Cade Courtney.
And so Bellefonte's on the board first with 3:54 left in the first half. And Bellefonte will be kicking the extra point here with the quarterback holding the ball, Gardner. And the snap back, the kick is up. And it's good by Travis Billett. So with 3:54 left in the first half, it's 7-0 Bellefonte over Huntington.
And now we really got to see what the Bearcats are going to come out and do because you've got to answer this. That move the ball, Jim.
No. Once we got here in the second period, we moved the ball a little bit in the first period, but second period, credit Bellefonte's defense. They've been all over Ian Border. They start getting Ian Border involved here in the second period. What do you say? He got 5 carries for 8 yards?
5 carries for 8 yards. And you know, the Bearcat offense is going to go as he goes. And right now, he's not going anywhere because the Bellefonte defense is doing a great job of shutting him down.
Well, the thing we set up on top of the show here was the first focus here for Huntingdon is their pass defense. And our corner let that drop. Safety was over there too, but a nice catch by the Bellefonte receiver for the touchdown. So finally we got points on the board. Just happens to be for the Red Raiders. As Billett's getting ready to kick off for Bellefonte on the left hash. So they'll show 6 guys on the wide side of the field, 4 on the short side of the field. We got whistle-happy officials now.
You know, one of the things, you know, and you know, graduation always takes away players year after year after year. But one of the things that Huntingdon, in my opinion, right now is drastically missing is that outside speed. Last year they had Johnny Wagner who had outside speed, you know, for sure. And now they don't have that. So they're trying to attack this Bellefonte middle, specifically because Porter is a good tackle-to-tackle runner, but they are just clogging up those holes. He has nowhere to go. And they're also doing a great job of getting pressure on sophomore quarterback Andrew Hootie. That Huntingdon is really, really in some offensive trouble now, and they're going to have to try to figure this out.
The referee blew the whistle to talk to Shannon Manning, the coach of Bellefonte. They onside kick it, and Huntington's all over it. Actually, he caught it in the air at the 45. Is number 60 is Landon Fisher. And Landon Fisher caught it in the air and thought, well, maybe I can take a couple steps forward and gain 3 yards. So, again, I'm not sure why. You just scored a touchdown. Why do you want to give Huntingdon the field position?
Well, specifically since Huntingdon has done nothing to be able to get that.
Well, I'm not quite sure of that, but it's advantage Huntingdon. 49-yard line. Huntingdon has the ball on this onside kick. Shotgun now with Border left. Hands it off the Border, falls right, gets north and south to the 45-yard line. And a good start, 6-yard gain for Ian Border. So we're looking at it 2nd and 4. A lot of time. With Huntingdon has all 3 timeouts, 3.5 minutes left in the first half. And the Bearcats are down a touchdown at 7-0. At Huntingdon Warvets Field here, we do have a play clock as opposed to watching the referee to put his hand up in the secondary. We're at 8 seconds on the play clock. Huntington in good shape here. They get set. Snap back, ball's on the right hash. We go to the wide side of the field behind Border. Nice job by the pulling guard, which is 76. Nice job by Bryant Speck as he led Border around the end. Got a good block at the 42-yard line, and Border got up, passed up, and went on up to the 35-yard line. First down. Nice block by Bryant Speck.
It's a nice 11-yard run there for Border, finally, getting some good positive yardage off of one of his carries.
First down for Huntington at the Bellefonte's 35. Back to Border, the short side of the field. If he can break the tackle, he did. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. He's in. Touchdown.
35-yard touchdown run.
What Huntington did in that series was start getting Border, off tackle and to the outside. And Ian has running room. And what was that, about 3 or 4 plays, touchdown?
That was a 3-play drive.
3-play drive of 50 yards. Again, you're Bellefonte. Why would you onside kick? You have a 7-0 lead. And it comes back and bites Bellefonte in the tush. Timmy Leitner for the extra point to try to tie the ball game up. 2:43 left. Good snap. Timmy kicks and looks nice. He had a nice kick on that one. End over end. So, again, I can't understand why Bellefonte would onside kick after going ahead 7-0.
Well, and I guess that was my point earlier, is that up to that point, the last 3 or 4 drives, Huntingdon was not able to move the ball at all.
Right, Bellefonte defense.
Right, and it came alive. It really did a good job of stopping Border. But I do think that we saw an inspired Ian Border running on that play. I mean, he was lowering his shoulder. He was pretty much saying, I'm pretty much sick and tired of getting these 2-3 yard gains. And
well, again, it's a reverse. When I say a reverse, Border's lining up on the right side of the quarterback and runs left. And that's all part of that wing T philosophy. If he's lined up on the left side, he's running right. And if the linebackers are not reading correctly, which, like I said, from the top of the show, they got to cross read. And if they're not cross reading, then on those reverses, other things got to happen. I mean, football is a team sport.
Yep.
But we had a beautiful block out here by Bryant Speck on the play before that. And but the blocking picked up on those 3 plays. And Huntingdon ties the ball game up. 2:43 left. That only took 60 seconds.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden Borders up 8 carries and 60 yards on the game with 1 touchdown, just based on that drive alone. So, again, we're going to sit here and scratch our heads as to why Bellefonte did what they did. But now Huntingdon has to come back, and they've got to kick this ball deep and keep Bellefonte down and get a stop. So
please tell me we're not going to onside kick this.
I would like to think not.
Huntingdon lines up on their kickoff with the ball placed right in the middle of the field at the 40.
This is a good thing. This is junior kicker Timmy Leitner, so he's got another year of being able to do this.
There's the kick. It's going down to our left side, caught at the 15 to 20, 25. We got him pinned in. Now he gets to the sideline, 35 out to the 39-yard line, where he's finally brought down. He just sort of hovered behind his running backs. Price was there with Border.
It's a 24-yard kickoff return, though. So if we are seeing a bugaboo here for the Bearcats, it's on special teams, and it's definitely on the return game. As Bellefonte has punt returns of 54 and 35, and then a 24-yard kickoff return, giving them good field position in each one of those instances. So that's something that Huntington's really going to have to look at and change here in the second half, because Bellefonte definitely has some special team explosiveness.
First down for Bellefonte. Ball's on the right hash at their own 39-yard line. They're in shotgun. Gallishaw in the backfield. Bellefonte moved. Sloppy.
That's their 4th penalty for 32 yards, and it couldn't have come at a worse time.
For them.
For them, that's for sure.
5 yards takes the ball back to the 34-yard line. First down and 15 now for the Red Raiders. And like I said, Huntingdon has 3 timeouts left. You don't want to give up on getting the ball back one more time. If you got a little momentum on offense for Huntingdon, keep in mind you would like to get the ball back. Huntingdon is now offside, and what's happened? Huntington's listening to the count, and they got to have their linebackers be focused on the ball. We always wondered, why does a nose guard jump offside? The ball's right there in front of you. So it's back to being 1st and 10. Bellefonte in a huddle. Breaks the huddle, comes out back to their own 39-yard 1st and 10. If you're bringing people, watch the football. Huntingdon is bringing people. Sideline over. No, nice catch by 12. And he's tackled by Border at the 50-yard line. Try to get that guy, Cade Fortney, juggled the ball, but made a nice catch on it. It was a high pass, and he's able to knock it down to his hands. So he gets 14 yards on the play and crosses into Huntingdon territory at the 47-yard line. When this play's over, we'll be at 2 minutes. Ball's on the right hash. Bellefonte comes out with trips to the wide side of the field. Man on the island right over here is Fortney. They're going to hand it off to Gallishaw to the short side of the field, no containment, and he's got some yardage. So across the 40-yard line to the 37, he was able to break the tackle of Bryant Speck. Specky calls himself off the field.
Yeah, about a 9-yard pickup. It is 9 yards for Gallishaw.
timeout officials, it is close enough for a timeout. We're at 1:47. And here's where Bellefonte's usage of timeouts, and I know 2 of those timeouts just because they were unorganized. But the fact remains, Bellefonte with 1:47 left, they're now in Huntington's territory, but they're going into this 1:47 with no timeouts. So they have some control of the clock, but they don't have the timeouts to use. Chain gang running across the field. Measure this. He got 9.5, 9 3/4 yards on that play. Yeah,
he still
9
is short.
3/4. 9 15/16 of a, but it's short. Second down in inches for Bellefonte. Again, no timeouts, 1:47 left.
And that was a real good run by Galashaw, Jim, being able to avoid. I mean, he avoided 2 tacklers in the backfield. Lance Brown actually had a beat on him. He's able to scoot around him. He's running really, really hard this evening. 10 carries, 37 yards, and just, taking a little bit of pressure off of that Bellefonte passing game and saying, hey, you got to respect me back here in the backfield.
Right. Well, Galashaw has shown some quick feet. He's avoided some tackles in the backfield. I know Border had one and Spectrum had one, and he was able to sidestep both of them. So he's shown a little more quickness than
Gardner, 6 of 8 for 60 yards, and that 1 touchdown to Fortney, 25-yarder.
3rd and inches. They are going from under the center. Now we got another, not a flag, but a whistle. They're taking a shotgun here.
Sure what this whistle would be for, Jim.
Ball's on the right hash.
Unless it's a clock issue, maybe.
Third down. All right, 3rd and inches here for Bellefonte. Ball's on the right hash. Slide motion in. He's going to throw a fade again. And who's come up with the ball? 1-on-1 as a jump ball. And number 12, Fortney. There's a lot of body language. Both guys are going up for the ball. But Fortney comes down with the ball at the 16-yard line. Completed pass on that fade down to the right sideline. And Bellefonte is threatening to score. But again, with 1:20 left, they don't have timeouts to work with.
It's Fortney's 4th catch for 68 yards tonight.
And again, Fortney's on an island over 1-on-1. They fake it. They hand it off to Galashaw off tackle. He's got room to run to the 10. We finally get him at the 8-yard line. But right now, I'm worried about the man on the island. They show trips to the left, open and right. And Huntington's got 1-on-1. Now you better have your, what you do, like I said last week, I'll probably say it for 10 weeks. When you run a wide formation like that with trips to the left and an open end on the right side, you like to put your best receiver on that open end. They're going to measure this first down. He got 10 yards on it, Galashaw. And it is a first down at the 7-yard line. So first down for Bellefonte. And they may not need their timeouts unless Huntington starts tightening down the bolts here.
Going to call this the 6-yard line. So
we start the 25-second clock. Bellefonte runs to the line of scrimmage. And again, they got the ball's on the left hash, so they got trips to the wide side, and Fortney is 1-on-1 on the short side of the field. Here's the snap back. He's going to hand it off to Galashaw, trying to go off tackle, but Huntington is there with, it looks like, Alex Mikett.
Again, no timeouts left, so they've got to line up in a hurry here.
Number 60 is over there, Landon Fisher. We're down to 20 seconds. Timeouts are hurting them. Bellefonte right now. Here we go. Snap, and they're going to take number 21 move forward.
Say they'll have an illegal shift on that, so we'll stop the clock for them, though, on the penalty.
12 seconds left. But Bellefonte was not set
Again, you have been talking about this receiver on the island. It's set up perfectly again for them to try to.
No, they don't have any timeouts.
No timeouts left.
They're going to have to throw the ball twice.
Yep.
As much as Galashaw is getting off tackle, they cannot. If they run the ball and they're tackled, I don't think a high school team can line up that quick.
They won't be able to. So I would look for two, maybe a fade pattern to the corner here. Gardner's throwing the ball up for grabs. He knows his receivers can jump over the Huntington defensive backs. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we see. We got Fortney out here again on that island. Now he moves in.
Well, Huntington is questioning the officials to start the clock. There's 12 seconds on the clock. Bellefonte has the ball right outside Huntington's 10-yard line. But on that, it's just on the snap, right? All right, they granted him the spike. Okay. Snap back. There's that fade. Huntington has it covered, but he gets out of the pocket to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, I think. If he's not in, that clock's going to run out. He did not get in, and if you're coaching Huntington, you get the guys in the locker room. He scrambled, and he got down to the 1-yard line. He scrambled, got down to the 1-yard line. And like I said, they cannot get under center to get that play off.
Wow.
And we're going into the locker room tied up at 7-7.
Wow, that was a very, very close play there to end the half. Just wow. So from Horvath Field, halftime.
That's a wow.
It is a wow. It is Huntington 7, Bellefonte 7. You've been listening to Bearcat Football on the Air Network.net.
Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 has served the citizens of Huntingdon over 100 years. The Moose family at 307 Allegheny Street, Huntingdon, invite you to become a member and enjoy our various social activities, including Wing Night, the 4th Friday of each month, Taco Night, and loads of entertainment, like live entertainment from Reboot on Saturday, September 10th from 8 to 11 p.m. Find out more about becoming a member of the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Check us out on our Facebook page.
Brenneman's Meat Markets are celebrating nearly 70 years in providing Huntingdon County with quality USDA-approved processed pork, chicken, and beef products. Brenneman's has 2 locations in the county where the tradition of the finest meats are found in the region. Stop by Brenneman's Huntingdon weekdays from 8 to 6, Saturdays 8 to 3. Mount Union, open 9 to 5 weekdays and 9 to 2 on Saturdays. Choose specials of $10 to $50 meat packs containing your favorite meats. Or stop by and ask about our select custom cuts, prepared and packaged while you wait. Brenneman's Meat Markets in Huntingdon and Mount Union. Call our office at 814-643-2751 for specials and more information.
Pennsylvania Highlands Community College provides you the option to earn an associate degree, diploma, or certificate at an affordable cost. The Penn Highlands Huntingdon Center, located on Margie Drive in Huntingdon, offers degree programs in business management, criminal justice, liberal arts and sciences, and psychology. Are you ready to take the next step on your career path? Contact Penn Highlands Huntingdon at 814-643-6200 or visit Penn Highlands Community College online at pennhighlands.edu.
Join 2-time Super Bowl champion Ike Taylor, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the Ike Taylor Show beginning Wednesday, September 7th, then at 8 p.m. each week right here on the airnetwork.net. Ike Taylor and Pittsburgh sports columnist John Harris continue their 6-year broadcast relationship, discussing the Steelers and the NFL every Wednesday from 8 to 9. Plus, you'll hear special guests, including current and past players, plus football experts from around the league and more. It's the Ike Taylor Show, coming to the home of the Huntingdon Bearcats, Wednesday, September 7th from 8 to 9 p.m. worldwide on the airnetwork.net.
It's halftime, live from the War Vets Field this evening with Chad States and Jim Zauzig. Bearcats and the Red Raiders of Bellefonte tied up 7-7 as we head into the third quarter in about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, this is Greg Banks in the studio. Hey, thanks to Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, Brenneman's Meat Markets, Penn Highlands Community College, the Huntingdon campus, also the Huntingdon County Drop-In Center, and the Ike Taylor Show. And we want to welcome to our family of supporters here on Bearcat Football next week, D.C. Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family. As you know, if you live in the Huntingdon area, they are very philanthropic and much giving when it comes to supporting not just sports, but more importantly, education. So welcome to the D.C. Goodman and Sons family and the Goodman family, of course, supporting education and the Huntingdon Bearcats. Of course, we'll get on with quarter number 3 coming up in just a few moments. But I had a chance to talk with a young man just recently who is from the Bellefonte area, who worked actually in Huntingdon at one time at Honey 103.5. You might remember Honeyman Bill Dan. Well, he's actually a songwriter, along with Jack Cervella out of the Altoona area, Bill coming from Bellefonte of all places. And they've written a new song about a mysterious, mystical animal or creature that we've all heard about out of Racetown Lake. Sort of like the Loch Ness Monster, if you will. But they call him Racetown Ray. And tonight, we want to share that song with you worldwide here during this game. Of course, appropriate enough as Bill Dan is an alum of Bellefonte High School. Stick around and give a listen to this great quirky song from Bill Dan and Jack Cervello. It's called Racetown Ray, here worldwide on the airnetwork.net.
As famous as lake monsters go, like Nessie, Champa, or Go Pogo. Being content, he makes his descent. Racetown Ray, it's time well spent. His playground punches 200 feet, 30 miles long with plenty to eat. But Ray isn't some barbarian, he's strictly a vegetarian. Racetown Ray, Racetown Ray, please show yourself to us today. We know that some say you're not real, but we know you're the real deal. Rise up to break the surface here. Oh, how we yearn to see you near. The big lake is made to frolic and play. Won't you indulge us, Racetown Ray? How Ray got here is not quite clear. This lake hasn't been here that many years. Skeptics scoff and still debate of Ray's existence in this great state. Crown jewel of Huntingdon County, paradise for a fisherman's bounty. There's plenty of space for Ray to thrive, and many who swear he's alive. Racetown Ray, Racetown Ray, please show yourself to us today. We know that some say you're not real, but we know you're the real deal. Rise up to break the surface here. Oh, how we yearn to see you near. The big lake is made to frolic and play. Won't you indulge us, Racetown Ray? Surprisingly, if you catch a peek, he really is quite timid and meek. And if you look above his chin, you might even see his friendly grin. When you see him, don't be alarmed. This gentle giant means no one harm. So try to catch a peek today. A friendly, bashful Racetown Ray. Racetown Ray, please show yourself to us today. We know that some say you're not real, but we know you're the real deal. Rise up to break the surface here. Oh, how we yearn to see you near. The big lake is made to frolic and play. Won't you indulge us, Racetown Ray, Racetown Ray? Please show yourself to us today. We know that some say you're not real, but we know you're the real deal. Rise up to break the surface here. Oh, how we yearn to see you near. The big lake is made to frolic and play. Won't you indulge us, raise down rain?
Well, we're not sure if he's real, but you know, a lot of people have talked about him, Racetown Ray. Many people have said they've seen him. He looks like the Loch Ness Monster, and maybe he is lurking in Lake Racetown. Well, this weekend may be the last opportunity for you to get a chance to see him. Hey, have a great Labor Day weekend, all right, from all of us here at the airnetwork.net. Halftime, by the way, Bellefonte and Huntingdon tied up 7-all. It is the second outing for the Bearcats as they defeated Mount Union last week. The home opener is happening live with Chad States and Jim Zauzig at War Vets Field. By the way, they got that beautiful track there now, and hopefully Chad will talk about that coming up in the third quarter. Also a chance for you to win a prize. Listen up closely as it's Bearcat Trivia tonight, and we'll have you give us a call in the studio with the answer. Chad's going to give you a chance to win a $20 gift certificate from our friends at Stonetown Gallery, Cafe, and Wine Bar. Beautiful place to hang out, downtown Huntingdon at 511 Washington Street. You know, check out their fabulous food, the patio with entertainment on Fridays, and I understand in talking with Lil Deb, they're going to have some entertainment coming up Saturdays, especially on Saturday, September 17th, Urban Fusion. Chip Lovett from Huntingdon, Eli Byrne, and the group from State College, Pennsylvania. Should be a lot of fun. Hey, meanwhile, speaking of fun, coming up this Wednesday, it is my pleasure to present worldwide, right here on the airnetwork.net, a guy that played 12 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers, won 2 Super Bowls, and is now, well, making his home at the NFL Network on television and also the airnetwork.net starting this Wednesday. Ike Taylor, by the way, will be joining us for the Ike Taylor Show. Let's give you a little listen in on what the show sounds like as he and John Harris, columnists for the Tribune Review in Pittsburgh, got together for about 6 years, and now they have joined us on the airnetwork.net. Here in Huntingdon, Pennsylvania, you can believe it? Man, we've got all kinds of connections. Check this out.
That's too much sauce. Protect, delete, the plain one. That's too much sauce. Hermes in the aim. That's too much sauce. They let me know before I was famous. I had too much sauce. Audemars Hublot now. That's too much sauce. That's too much sauce. That's too much sauce. Protect, delete, the plain one. That's too much sauce. Hermes in the aim. That's too much sauce.
So that's just his presence. That's just what he brings to the table, John.
What were the weight sessions like? Weightlifting sessions like in there with him? Was it a sight to behold? Was it competitive? Did everybody just kind of crowd around and see how much weight this guy could actually lift? What was that like to see that, to experience that, the work that he puts into it? He has muscles upon muscles in those arms and upper body.
See, what you can't get twisted was Steve McClendon also made a statement and said it's all natural. And Steve McClendon isn't a weak guy, far from being weak. Debo used to lift with Big Steve, and Big Steve McClendon plays defensive tackle. So on that note, it's like, man, y'all really picking on this dude, or y'all really do have information on this guy. If you got information on this guy, it should have been out. Y'all should have been brought that out. So, I mean, it's just kind of sad to see. I don't know if this is a personal agenda with whomever, but all the man do is work, man. That's all he do. But he's been that way since he got in the league. Like, that's what he pride himself on, is being a workaholic.
Ike Taylor talking about the recent situation with James Harrison.
Roger Goodell, James Harrison rivalry, whatever you want to call it. It's been there for a while. Let's move even deeper than that. The Steelers were the only team to vote against the last collective bargaining agreement, which has now become very controversial because now people are saying the players, it's on the players. You guys are the ones that gave the commissioner all this power. Could we even be going back as far as that now? The Steelers were the one team that didn't okay this deal, even though it did go through. Do people just in the NFL office just have long memories? And is that just another factor that you heap on top of some of the things that James Harrison has said about Roger Goodell in the past, and just kind of almost open defiance? You can come, I'll interview you, but you come to my house and I'll talk to you. You come to my house is basically what James Harrison has told the league. Why don't you guys come to my house?
Yeah, I mean, you can't get mad at the man. I mean, thus far he's done everything you'd have asked him to do. So, I mean, don't get it twisted. The league itself is a monster, meaning, not a lot of people tell them no. They have money for days to back themselves up. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So, I mean, you're dealing with a monster when you talk about the NFL. But on the other hand, I look at it, what kind of evidence do you have on this guy? And if you had that kind of evidence on that guy, why haven't it came out?
And now, back to Huntingdon Bearcat football on the airnetwork.net.
Welcome back to Corvettes Field, where your score is Huntingdon 7, Bellefonte 7 at the half. And how we got here is Bellefonte opened up the scoring with 3 minutes and 54 seconds on a 25-yard touchdown pass from Chase Gardner to Cade Fortney. Bill had added the extra point, and it was 7-0 Bellefonte at that point. Then Huntingdon answered right back because Bellefonte decided to onside kick. And at the 2:43 mark, Ian Border broke off a 35-yard run down the left sideline. Timmy Leitner adding the extra point, and we are all tied up at 7-7. Your halftime stats. First downs for Bellefonte, they had 8. Huntingdon had 5. Bellefonte was 60 net yards rushing. Huntingdon with 87. Passing yards and heavily in favor of Bellefonte with 81, as Huntingdon has 9. As we go down here, penalties, 5 for 37 for Bellefonte. Huntingdon, 3 for 15. Individually, Galashaw getting it done on the ground for the Red Raiders, 12 attempts for 42 yards. Gardner, 4 attempts for 10 yards. And Boone with 2 carries for 6. On the ground for the Bearcats, Ian Border leading the way, 8 attempts, 60 yards, and 1 touchdown, that coming on that 35-yard touchdown run. Andrew Hootie, 5 attempts for 8 yards. Noah Glennie, 1 for 9. And Weg Lars, 1 for 4. Passing in the air, Gardner is 7 of 9 for 81 yards, including that touchdown to Fortney. And Krieger had 1 attempt and 1 interception. Huntington's receivers, Price with 1 catch for 2 yards. Sellers, 1 for 7. And for Bellefonte, Fortney, 4 for 68 with the touchdown. Boone, 1 for 7. And Helms, 1 for 8. So, Jim, both teams coming out here after, what I want to say kind of a lackluster first half for both squads. If you're Huntingdon, what type of adjustments do you need to make to put some more points on the board and to try to salt this game away?
Well, there's 3 points that I wanted to hit on, and point number 1 is what we focused on at the beginning of the game. The secondary has got to step up, and there have been guys that have been covered, but when the ball comes down, they're not making a play on the ball. And Fortney has 4 catches here and 1 for a touchdown. Secondly, the reverse is to Galashaw. When Galashaw is on the right side of the quarterback, our linebackers on our right side have got to stay home and get ready for Galashaw. They're trying to run Galashaw just like Huntingdon is doing to Bellefonte with Border. They're running those guys through their opposite side. And if you're not cross-reading, you're going to get burned. And Galashaw's burned Huntingdon. And Huntingdon had that ball at the 50-yard line after the ill-advised onside kick. And Border ran for all 51 yards, right? The ball was on the 49-yard line. 3 plays later, we score. And all three plays were a border running back against the grain from the right side to the left, following the guard, Brian Speck, and got 51 yards in 3 plays. And finally, for Huntingdon, and this is big, their coverage teams on punt and kickoffs are not doing the job of containing the runner. The runners for Bellefonte on punt returns and kickoff returns are getting to that sideline. You run the man to the sideline and run him out of bounds. But if he can get vertical on that sideline, then it becomes a foot race. So they're the 3 things for Huntingdon that they got to, tighten it down.
And if you're Bellefonte,
stop border and the linebacker, stay home. Stay home. Because border's coming back your way. If border's lined up away from you, when the ball is snapped, stay home. There's times when flow goes toward border and the linebackers take off. And that's when you want to come back that way. And if you're a Bellefonte guy, stay home. Because right now, other than that 3-play, 50-yard drive, Bellefonte's defense done a decent job against Huntingdon.
Coming out here into the second half, Huntingdon will receive after they deferred, after winning the coin toss in the first half. Back deep for the Bearcats will be number 2, Jonathan Price, and number 21, Noah Glennie, as we get ready for second half action here at War Vets Field. Again, your score, Bellefonte 7, Huntingdon 7. In scores of other games, we did see that Central was leading Tyrone at the half, 10-0. Not much of a surprise there. Central comes back with another very good squad. And their running back, Alex Hohenstein, he's an all-state player.
And his uncle calls the plays, AJ. Yep. AJ was the head coach. But AJ's also the head baseball coach. And AJ said, I'll run the offense, but somebody else be the head coach. Bellefonte getting ready. We got Glennie deep with Price.
Persico set to kick off. We got a flag here right off the bat.
2, 4, 6, 2. That illegal substitution?
Must be. So before the clock even starts, Bellefonte's going to get a 5-yard penalty. That'll back him up 5 yards, and it's not often that you see that.
I think he probably found a rule on page 85, paragraph 6, letter A, B, or C. Here's the kickoff. It's scribbed off to the right side, picked up short in the 30 by Huntingdon. He's trying to get upfield. He gets to the 35. He dropped the ball, and I think Bellefonte's got it. He was going down. He wasn't down yet.
That is
Zook. I think that's Alex Mikan.
Was Draven Zook on the return.
What I could see as he was going down, they ripped it out of his hands. So not a good start for Huntingdon here.
Not a good start at all. Again, good field position for the Red Raiders.
So the ball is on Huntington's 35-yard line. First down for Bellefonte. Tight end trips to the wide side. They hand it off. Yep. And that's the play I was just talking about. Galashaw's lined up on the right side of the quarterback. He ran him back toward the short side of the field. That's where you tell your linebackers, stay home. Stay home. You always tell your linebackers, where do you go if the flow goes that way? Nowhere. I'm staying home. All right, second down and 10. No gain on that. They motion to the trip side. Again, they're going back to the island. They lobbed it over Mike's head. Good job by the quarterback. He was able to get it over Mike's head and hit his receiver on the short side. Again, it is
Cade Fortney.
Fortney on the left side.
See what the mark is here. Looks like it's going to be third down as they're going to place the ball just short
of the
25-yard line.
3rd and inches for Bellefonte. They're going to Probably start out the second half with some short passes. Try to suck up the corners before going deep. Huntington's still showing cover 2. Up the middle of the Galashaw. He skips to the outside. Not good tackling over there. We do push him out of bounds, but he got the first down. Again, Galashaw lined up on the right side of the quarterback, ran back to the left side, and was able to get 7 yards and a first down. Andrew Hootie checks in at safety for Huntington. First and 10, Bellefonte at the 21-yard line of Huntington. Shotgun snap, left hash, give up the Galashaw going up the off right tackle. And Huntington, who tackled well last week, is Galashaw is breaking tackles here. He's down inside the 15 to the
not the 13-yard line.
13-yard line.
8-yard
pickup.
Wow, and he just kept his feet moving and moving and moving and did not stop.
He's breaking tackles. I would suspect he's got 8 broken tackles so far in this game. The big guy coming into the game right now is the big fullback. He leads up the middle and does nothing. No wonder he didn't start the game.
Yep.
Lipscomb is big, but you got to ask him to hit somebody. Huntington blitz, and Lipscomb just said, "Ole, go ahead in there." 9:40 left in the third quarter. Tie game 7-7, but Bellefonte is threatening 3rd down and 3 at Huntington's
9-yard line. It was
14.
At the 14.
Bellefonte, boy, they come out of the huddle. They always look like they're a little disorganized. Now they're checking with Galashaw in the backfield. And he's forced to go out of the game. It's an equipment issue. Galashaw's out of the game. That doesn't help them. And number 25 checks in the game for Bellefonte, Tyler Krieger. And he'll line up as a tailback. 3rd and 3. Snap to the quarterback. Up the middle. Oh, the quarterback kept it. Good fake. Gardner kept it. And he might have gotten a first down at the 10. They're going to measure. Good fake by Gardner.
It's a real good fake by Gardner.
Well, I'm glad somebody else got faked out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at Krieger the whole time, and then all of a sudden I saw Gardner sliding down.
Krieger
so,
on that.
I mean, even if they're short, they're going to go for it in this situation anyway. So this is a.
They looked at it long enough. They're short.
Yeah.
So it's 4th and inches. 4th and inches for Bellefonte at Huntington's 11-yard line. Tie game 7-7. 9 minutes left in the third period. In typical high school football fashion, this one could go down to the wire. Can anybody name who said that quote? There's a Zika spider on the mosquito. Quarterback sneak. He's leaning forward. The big fullback's trying to push him forward.
He didn't need to go far. He just needed to move the ball just a little bit. So we'll see. But it was a good surge by the Huntington defensive line.
Well, he spun off that good surge to the left tackle, and I think he got enough momentum.
It looked like I saw them pointing.
Well, they had big lips
and
push him.
Yep.
Big lips to push him. Then I got called the pros in college. Why call it here?
Exactly right.
First down for Bellefonte at Tyrone's 10. Tyrone. I got Tyrone of the brain already. Bellefonte has the ball. Fake the handoff. Krieger keeps it. He gets up to the 6-yard line. Second down is quarterback. Krieger kept it. Just trying to see where is Gardner right now.
5-yard pickup on the play for Krieger.
Second down to 5 at the Huntington 5-yard line. Bearcat defense got to tighten it down. Krieger is at quarterback now. Shotgun snap. He hands it off up the middle. 4-3 into the end zone. Touchdown is Dexter Galashaw. And on that touchdown, Bellefonte goes ahead 13-7.
And that's just good, tough running by Galashaw. Jim, we've seen him do that all evening long.
He's breaking some tackles.
He really is. He's running hard. Those legs are churning, and he's doing a really good job there.
Rishko on the extra point. Snap is good. It's up high, and it looks good. It is good. So with 7:51 left in the third period, it's Bellefonte 14 and Huntingdon 7.
So now it's time to play a little bit of Bearcat trivia on the Air Network. Question is, how many undefeated regular seasons does the Bearcat football program have? The question again, how many undefeated regular seasons does the Bearcat football program have? If you know the answer, call 814-667-7195 now during our live broadcast. With the correct answer, you'll win a $20 gift certificate from the Stonetown Gallery Cafe and Wine Bar at 511 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon, where you can enjoy really great food, Friday entertainment, and evenings on our patio. Again, how many undefeated regular seasons does the Bearcat football program have? And if you're not eating at the Stonetown Gallery, I highly recommend it. This is a $20 gift certificate that you can win that is well worth it. So, no, we can't give the answer here. I think Jim might have
I don't want you to give the answer here.
I'm not going to give the answers, but
I have an answer. And
I'm sure that Jim has an answer, and everybody. We sit up here in the CJ Zauzig Senior press box with Jim, Mike, and Garrett Zauzig, so it's a family affair up here. But again, if you know the answer to that, call 814-667-7195. Question, how many undefeated regular seasons does the Bearcat football program have? And you'll win a $20 gift certificate from the Stonetown Gallery Cafe and Wine Bar, 511 Washington Street in Huntingdon.
Glennie and Price are deep as Bellefonte gets ready to kick off with a 14-7 lead. It's high and short. We fielded at the 17. Price finds an opening, and there's a flag. Usually that's blocking. So he gets out to the 32. But I got a feeling this flag's against Huntingdon. Holding against Huntingdon. So the ball's on the 32. And that's going to take the ball back to the 22. So Huntingdon has the ball at their own 22-yard line, down by 7.
And can they answer the call? Bellefonte coming right out, capitalizing on a Huntingdon mistake right off the bat in the second half. And now Huntingdon again finds themselves in a hole, down by 7.
Wide slot left in a wing T look. And Border off tackle right. Border runs in his own man, but he does get positive yards after the 30-yard line.
Wow.
And that's where they're going to start attacking Bellefonte. Just like that touchdown series of 3 plays, 50 yards from Huntingdon. They ran off tackle or outside. And I got a feeling they're going to go to that until they start spreading.
Border should be fresh. Only 8 carries in that first half. So he's got, he should be fresh on a nice, crisp, clear evening. And that was another good run, 8 yards, bringing him up to 68 on the evening.
Ball's on the right hash, 2nd and 2 for Huntingdon. Slot to the short side of the field, and Sellers handed off the Border again. Same play to the short side of the field, off tackle, crosses the 40, 35, and a good enough for the first down for Huntingdon. And right now, I think that Huntington's going to ride this wave right now until Bellefonte can stop him. Ball's on the right hash out at the 35-yard line. Huntingdon started this drive just inside at their 22. First down, Huntingdon. Ball's on the right hash. We got a slot here on the wide side of the field and a man on the island on the short side of the field. Fake at the border, and Hootie keeps it, but nothing there. He scrambles to get away from 2 tackles, and when it's all said and done, it's no game. So what they're trying to do there, they faked at the border. Some of Bellefonte's people did come this way, but the backside people stayed home.
And Jim, in news from other sports, I just read on my phone that the Atlanta Braves are interested in Tim Tebow. So that's a little bit interesting there, just to throw that little tidbit out.
The Pirates went out to that thing.
Yeah, well, a lot of people went out to that thing.
Well, a lot of those people want Tebow to minor leagues for the draw.
Oh, it's a big money draw, that's for sure.
Second down and 10 for Huntington. Shotgun snap. A hitch out here to Sellers. He catches it. Breaks a tackle. Gets to the 42-yard line. Nice catch and run by Matt Sellers for 8 yards out to Huntington's 43-yard line. And it'll be 3rd down and 2.
That was a
I got a feeling old Tim Tebow is going to bring some people into a minor league park.
I would agree with that. That was a good job by Sellers there, shrugging off that initial tackler. This is his first year out playing football.
Right.
And being able to brush off a defender coming in at your knees like that, that's a good job.
Hand it off. No, he doesn't hand it off the border, and Goody keeps it. They got him by the ankle. I want to see when he gets up. They pulled his ankle pretty good. Actually, you pull the ankle, you may hurt the knee. Andrew's giving the thumbs up like I can handle this, but it's 4th down now. It was 3rd and 2. They tried to fake it to border going to the wide side. And I'm not second guessing, I've been in the same boat. Every now and then, everything's happening well. You want to play off of that. And sometimes it just doesn't work. Nice high punt at the 25. He dropped it, but he picks it back up and tackled right away by number 89, Ben Briggs. So that's 6'3", 185 junior, Ben Briggs.
Well, that's a big tackle. It's a 37-yard punt, but Huntington needed to establish something right there and saying, hey, your punt return team, you can't advance the ball any further than what you did last time.
Well, the first thing there is who got it up in the air.
Yep.
And you got enough hang time that your cover team can get down there and do their job. And we mentioned that at halftime is Huntington's got to cover better on special teams. And when Hootie gets that ball up in the air like that, now your cover team can get under it. So what was the punt, 30 what?
37-yard punt for Andrew Hootie.
No return. Bellefonte ball. Shotgun snap. Gardner back in the game, hands off up the middle. He keeps his feet moving, his Galashaw. And he's got about six yards.
And I'm not so sure that Galashaw doesn't run into the back of one of his offensive linemen, and he's not gone on that situation because his feet were still churning when he was going down.
Second down and 3. We're Bellefonte at their own 33-yard line. We're at 4:20 left in the third period, and the Bearcats are down 14-7.
63 yards on 18 carries, so Galashaw has been the workhorse for the Red Raiders in the backfield this evening.
Galashaw lines up behind the shotgun quarterback. They're going to give it to him again. Stop. Spins out of that tackle and into the hands of Ian Border.
We've got a
flag in the play thrown by the umpire, which usually means it's holding against Bellefonte. And this could come at a very good time.
And I mean, you always look at down and distance as you had referred to before, but this is definitely a penalty that Huntington takes to move Bellefonte back as they're only 4 yards away from converting a first down. And they will.
From the 34 back to the 24.
Yep, that is a holding penalty.
So now we're looking at 17.
Bellefonte's
13 yards.
7th penalty for 52 yards. Huntington with 4 for 25. That's a big one there. And Bellefonte has shot themselves in the foot on numerous occasions here this evening through penalties and through just some.
Down to 13. Shotgun snap with Galashaw. They're showing 4 receivers now. Galashaw, the only man in the backfield. They hitch out here to the short side. Again, their number 1 guy, number 12, Huntington's all over it. Courtney. And again, they feel that good about Courtney. They can get him in the open field, let him use his speed, but Huntington was all over it. A gain of maybe 1 yard. Now it's 3rd down and 12.
Yeah, that's going to go in the books as no gain as far as I'm concerned. It's one of those ones where it's a completion for no gain. It's his 6th reception on the evening, 77 yards, including that 25-yard touchdown pass. So he is definitely their go-to guy, and we'll see what happens here on 3rd down.
Huntington needs to stop here to get the good field position. to mount this drive and get it back. Now Huntington's pressing. He tries a roll to the wide side. Throws out in the flat, incomplete. What Huntington did there, they made him throw on the run.
Right, and Porter with great, outstanding coverage on that made him throw wider than he wanted to that wide receiver. This will bring up a fourth down for Bellefonte, an obvious punting situation as Jonathan Price will drop back deep for the Bearcats. So just like you said, Jim, Huntington needed to get a stop. They got a stop. Now they got to do something with this. They should have good field position.
Not a great punter, so Price is standing on his own 45-yard line. If he could field this, he'll at least get that.
Watch for the block. Porter is really good coming off of this edge, too.
Porter goes. He gets it off. Hit the first man. And the ball goes out of bounds to the 45-yard line. So, again, they're aiming for that sideline with that rugby-style punt. But still a great field position here.
Yep.
Huntington's got to put some plays together here, folks.
Yep. And if you haven't heard already, Bearcat trivia, again, the question is, how many undefeated regular seasons does the Bearcat football program have? If you know, call 814-667-7195 now during our live broadcast with the correct answer, and you'll win a $20 gift certificate from the Stonetown Gallery Cafe and Wine Bar at 511 Washington Street in downtown Huntington.
Run a little option. Hootie tried to keep it there all over him. Weglar's went in motion. They faked the border up the middle and tried to run an option to the right. But they're all over Hootie before he get a chance to pitch it.
And Jim, that play's not been there all night long. I mean, Andrew Hootie's really not been effective in the run game at all for the Bearcats here. So I think they're going to have to come up with a different type of plan here to get something else going.
Second down, loss of 2 on the play. Second and 2. Matt Sellers, the ball's on the left hash. He goes out far right on an island himself there. Snapping back over to Sellers. He's one-on-one, trying to break a tackle. If he can break that tackle, I mean, that's the whole idea of doing that hitch, is get it out to somebody who has a little bit of quickness and speed. And if he can break that one tackle, and what Juniata does, they run 2 guys out there. One guy runs and blocks for the other guy while he catches it, but he still has to break a tackle, and that's usually your speed guys.
There's another third down for Huntington. Huntington 0 for 5 on the evening on third down, so they really need to stop that trend here if they want to get back into this football game.
The ball's on the right hash, like I said, third and 12. Got a wide slot over here. Bellefonte anticipating pass, got 3 over 2. They're going to go man-to-man. And Huntington's just not blocking right now for Hootie.
Andrew has no time.
He never gets the ball up to his ear to throw it.
Nope. As soon as he goes back, he has to drop his shoulder, and he's got white shirts all around him.
And pass protection is going to be the issue here if Andrew's going to get a chance to throw it. I mean, Huntington's in punt formation, 4th and 15. Good snap by Alex Mikan. A decent punt by Hootie down to the 22. He returns up the left sideline, and they finally pushed him out of bounds to the 45. And again, the contained guys on that punt team is not getting it done. The ball does come out to the 41-yard line. There's an injured player in the blue jersey. And Doc Buzz is going to run to that side of the field. So we're going to have a timeout here, checking an injured Bearcat on the far side of the field with the score. Bellefonte 14 and Huntington 7.
Thanks again to the Huntington Moose Family Center, number 223. Brenneman's Meat Markets, Penn Highlands Community College, Huntington Campus, D.C. Goodman's and Sons and the Goodman family, the Huntington County Drop-In Center, and the Ike Taylor Show for presenting Bearcat football this season on the airnetwork.net. If I start to look at some things here, Border was 73 yards on the ground, but that's just about the only offense that Huntington has been able to muster, and a lot of that came on one drive, Jim. So Bellefonte's defense really flexing their muscle here tonight against the Bearcats, as they're not able to really get anything done offensively. On the flip side, if I look over here, I see Chase Gardner with 90 yards passing, 77 of those yards coming on 6 receptions by Cade Fortney. Galashaw also proving to be, a very good, solid running back. 18 carries, 63 yards on the evening for the Red Raiders.
Bellefonte has the ball at the 40-yard line. Huntingdon at their own 40-yard line. Ball's on the left hash. They got trips to the wide side of the field and a man on the island on the short side of the field. Well, he's not on an island. We got a safety over there now. Galashaw's hand off to the short side of the field. He's got room to run. He's got 10 yards. He's finally pushed out of bounds. He got 17, 18 yards on the play down to Huntington's 42. So they're running back toward the short side of the field. For you folks out there that are out there waiting to hear your son's name and a little on the naive side about football, when I say he's on an island, a wide receiver's all by himself out there, one-on-one with the defender. Now, Huntingdon has now put a safety over on top of that, so it's really not the island anymore. He's got to deal with two people. But Huntingdon keeps changing it up. First down and 10, handed off to Galashaw to go to the short side of the field again, and he crosses the 40-yard line down to the 38.
And now we're starting to see Galashaw's will being imposed on the Bearcat defense. It's 4 yards at a clip here. It's 5 yards, and it's 18 yards.
That's a good word you use there. The third quarter's winding down, and it's a matter of will at this point.
Yep.
Of course, you have a 7-point lead. You're a little more fired up than the team that's down by 7 and not moving the ball.
Well, and I'm looking out here, and I see some defensive linemen with their hands on their hips and all that stuff. So we are now.
Body language isn't good, and John Mikens meeting the defense.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing if John's coming out on the field. So it's the end of the third quarter. Your score, Bellefonte 14, Huntingdon 7. You're listening to Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net.
Brenneman's Meat Markets are celebrating nearly 70 years in providing Huntingdon County with quality USDA-approved processed pork, chicken, and beef products. Brenneman's has 2 locations in the county where the tradition of the finest meats are found in the region. Stop by Brenneman's Huntingdon weekdays from 8 to 6, Saturdays 8 to 3. Mount Union, open 9 to 5 weekdays and 9 to 2 on Saturdays. Choose specials of $10 to $50 meat packs containing your favorite meats. Or stop by and ask about our select custom cuts, prepared and packaged while you wait. Brenneman's Meat Markets in Huntingdon and Mount Union. Call our office at 814-643-2751 for specials and more information.
Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 has served the citizens of Huntingdon over 100 years. The Moose family at 307 Allegheny Street, Huntingdon, invite you to become a member and enjoy our various social activities, including Wing Night, the 4th Friday of each month, Taco Night, and loads of entertainment, like live entertainment from Reboot on Saturday, September 10th from 8 to 11 p.m. Find out more about becoming a member of the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Check us out on our Facebook page.
Now back to more Bearcat football exclusively on the airnetwork.net.
Handoff, Gallashaw off the right side. Gallashaw does get about 4 yards down to the 37-yard line. So it's third down and 6 for the Red Raiders of Bellefonte.
And if you haven't been down to War Vets Field, you can see that there's some construction going on down here as Huntingdon is installing a new track around the field. We'll get more on that here in a few minutes. Bellefonte breaks their huddle.
Ball's on the left hash, double slot now for Bellefonte. And a timeout by Bellefonte. So with the score 11-11 left in the ball game, it's 14-7 Bellefonte, just to take off on what's going on down here. Back in 1999, when I decided to see an engineer and find out how to build a building, I met up with Steve Parks, who is a Huntington architect living in Altoona. And Steve Parks and I met and talked about building this field house. But Steve said, let's do the entire War Vets Field. And he laid out a plan for War Vets Field, even though we got a new scoreboard in, we got a restroom, and, of course, the field house. But Steve had the master plan. Well, that was 15 years ago. The school district has decided to look at it because the Huntingdon just doesn't have a home track meet. But they have put in the track. Underneath your the rubber track, you have the macadam, and that's what's down there now. and the rubber track will go down in the next 2 weeks while Huntington's on the road next week. So in about 2 weeks, we should have a 6-lane track going around Vets Field here. Time is back in for Bellefonte with 3rd down and 6 at Huntington's 37-yard line. Back to Gardner. Gardner's going to hand it off. They got a little push up the middle there against Huntington's interior line. But we did stop Calishaw at the 35 for a 2-yard gain. And it's 4th and 4.
And this is a
5.
You're going to punt and try and pin Huntington down deep at this point in time. This is a field position play now.
I would assume, yeah.
Yep, that's what
they're
doing.
Going to punt the ball and play football here.
And Huntington doesn't have anybody deep here, so it looks like they're just going to let this punt roll. That's a little surprising.
Snap back. He punts it.
And
it's going to hit at the
going to go into the end zone.
Yeah. No, it did not go into the end zone.
What a great job.
Nobody was back.
By number 5 for Bellefonte, Dylan Dietrich, who got down there and stopped that ball at the 1-yard line. So, a ball that was tumbling end over end that was destined for the end zone. Dylan Dietrich sprinted down this left side, beat the ball down to the end zone, was able to touch it before he went in, and Huntington will take over at the 1-yard line. So just an outstanding punt and play for Bellefonte there.
Huntington's got to go 99 yards, and we're in the exact spot 25 years ago. I'll tell you about it. Maybe we can do the same thing. Knock left. Border gets. Oh, he broke it.
Oh, man.
He almost broke it.
Wow.
It almost was a deja vu for me.
Yes.
25 years ago, Richard Smucker was in the backfield. His 1st and 10 at the 1-yard line. Richard went off tackle, went 99 yards down to the sideline, would have set a Huntington record. And the referees called it back because Tom Couch did not have his mouthpiece in his mouth. As it turned out, he did have his mouthpiece in his mouth. There was another one dangling from his chin, and they would not wave off that flag. There's knock right. Porter's getting out to the 10-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 1. But what they called, they changed this call. Instead of saying we screwed up, they changed the call to deceiving the official. Are you kidding me? The only reason Tommy Couch had two mouthpieces, one in his mouth, because he bent his helmet in the play earlier, and he barred a helmet, and the kid's mouthpiece stayed on the face mask, but Tom had his mouthpiece in his mouth. And the referees changed the call. We're going back to knock left to try to get the 1st down out to the 12, and it's 1st down for Huntington.
The irony of that whole story is, Jim, that the longest run from scrimmage occurred when you were coaching back in 2002 whenever Jeff Kozik went 99 yards against Bald Eagle area. So while you didn't see
that up at Bald Eagle?
That was up at Bald Eagle. Yep.
That was 99 yards?
That was 99 yards.
Yeah,
that was one little shifty move, and he was gone like lightning.
And even Jeff was running out of gas at the 5-yard line. I saw him in White from Phillipsburg. Speedster up there.
He was some sort of player.
Huntington gets it out from the shadow of their own goalpost at the 11, 1st down. We hand it off right tackle, and Border's broken. He's at the 25, 30, 40. The guy got an angle on the Border's got to beat him, and they finally pushed him out of bounds. But we are in Bellefonte territory at the 38-yard line. Run it back to, and both Huntington and Bellefonte are basically running the same offense. They're running the reverse back to the short side of the field.
It's a 51-yard gain for Border, and I'm going to tell you that the block that sprung him was at the 30-yard line, or actually at the 25-yard line when Lance Brown just stepped right in front of a Bellefonte defender and sealed off that back-end guy coming up to him. So 51-yard gain for Huntington, and they are now in position in the Bellefonte side of the field.
We're at 8:27 left in the ball game, and Huntington's down 7, but we are now in Bellefonte territory. Hootie's going to keep it, and they're all over him at the 38-yard line.
He's not cutting it up. He's trying to go side to side with that, and he needs to hit the hole and go through it hard. And He's not having quite the rushing game that he had last week. I think it's going to be no gain on the play there. Yep, like no gain for Hootie.
Well, let's see. The challenge right now for Huntington is their offensive line has got to step it up. They're not pass blocking for Andrew. He's not having time. You're almost going to have to roll him out to get him a chance to look downfield and throw it. And as far as him keeping on a quarterback keep at on this spread offense, there's no hold there for Andrew. 2nd and 10 for Huntington. Snap back to Andrew. He's looking to throw. He got a little time. Now he's got his man over the middle. Glenny's got it at the 15-10. Touchdown.
Nice touch. Nice touch on that pass.
Noah Glenny sort of had to wait for the ball. He didn't catch it quite in stride, but Glenny did get behind the safety. And he's got the ball at the 15 and went in for the touchdown with 7:39 left. And we're an extra point away from a tie game.
Willie Mays would be smiling on that catch, Jim.
Well,
How
that's what
about
I was worried about. He put himself in a position where he had to catch the ball back over his head. But he saw it into the hands. Little pressure on Timmy Leitner here on the extra point. Snap is good. Down. Oh, it looks good. It is good.
Wow, he drilled that.
Timmy Leitner looking good on those extra points, and we got a tie ball game at 14-14. And tell you what, we got a lot of excitement starting tonight with football this weekend. Listen to these games coming up tomorrow and over the weekend. We got Wisconsin and LSU. That's at Lambeau Field. Notre Dame is at Texas. UCLA is at Texas A&M. These are all big college football
games.
openers.
That's right, ranked
Georgia
teams.
is playing North Carolina. That one's in Atlanta. USC, Saturday night, is playing Alabama in the Jerry Jones Dome at Arlington, Texas. USC and Alabama. Ole Miss is playing Florida State in Orlando. Clemson is playing Auburn. That's a big game. Oklahoma is playing Houston. In Houston, but at a neutral site.
Wow.
So there's 8 games there.
And those of you in Bearcat land, we're waiting to see who the starting quarterback at Michigan is going to be, because Michigan plays Hawaii at noon. And battling for that job is former Bearcat John O'Corn. So Harbaugh not naming a quarterback prior to the start of that game. He is tight-lipped. And so we'll wait and see at noon tomorrow if there's a Bearcat starting for the University of Michigan.
Should be interesting. I never got a call from Gary, so I'm wondering right now. 7:39 left in the ball game. Huntington 2, 4, 5. Okay, that got straightened out. 5 on each side. 7:39 left in the ball game. It's 14-14.
And here's that flag again. Is this the same call that
I tell you
went
what,
against Bellefonte?
What Timmy's doing?
Yeah, it's the same call.
He's starting forward. The guys go down. They put their hands on the knees. Somebody's got to tell Timmy, don't start forward until their hands on their knees. So technically, it is backfield motion, so to speak.
And that's what we saw Bellefonte get hit for right at the beginning of the half.
All 10, you say, you ready? They say ready. They slap their knees and they put their hands on their knees. Well, Tim's got to wait 1,000 before kicking the ball.
Mount Union leading Juniata Valley 7-6 in the fourth quarter. So tight ball games in the area.
There's a kick. It's going down the left sideline. He has to run forward back to the 12. Gives out, trying to get up the right sideline. Huntington has him inside the 30 at the 29, and the Bellefonte runner goes down at the 29, 28-yard line, where the defense got to step it up here and get the ball back with 7:30 left in the ball game. 14-14, tie game. Huntington tied it up. How long was that pass to Glenny?
39-yard touchdown pass.
39-yard touchdown pass down the middle. I think what they did was with the spread formation, you can spread those safeties out. I think Glenny made his move into the middle of the field.
And he is a weapon out of the backfield. He had 11 catches last year and was Huntington's leading receiver. So using Glenny out of the backfield is no secret, and he shows that he's got good hands.
All right, we got 6 guys in coverage right now. They hand it off to Kalishaw. And nice job by Alex Mikett. He threw his body at his knees and upended him a 1 yard loss. Number 30. It sort of looks like a young Andy Young. Second down at 12. Good play by our, I think Alex is an outside linebacker. He upended Galashaw for a 2-yard loss. Second down and 12. Clock is just under 7 minutes left in the ball game, 14-14. Huntington is showing 6 people in coverage. They fake. Now they're throwing over the middle. Oh, right. They missed the tackle. Completed, and he's off to the sideline. Borders there. They push him back in the middle. He's at the 40. And Hootie brings him down at the 40-yard line, at Huntington's 40-yard line. We sent a linebacker, and they end up dumping the ball right where the linebacker left.
32-yard pass play to Tanner Helms, his second catch of the evening, but it came at a bad time for Huntington. That's a big chunk of yardage for Bellefonte.
Well, not only the bad time, but usually Andrew Hootie's not in on defense, but he was in on defense there. And when he made the tackle, he might have hurt himself. And what that means is you better get your backup warming up.
The backup's playing defense. That'd be number 7, Jarris Warner. So
yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Andrew Hootie.
That's what it looked like to me, too.
He's the one who made the tackle. So things get a little quiet here. Bellefonte has the ball at Huntington's 40-yard line.
Gardner having
6.5 minutes left in the ball game, a tie game, 14-14.
Gardner quietly having another good evening tonight, Jim. 10 of 13 for 122 yards and 1 touchdown. So looks like Andrew's running off the field without the help of any trainers or doctors, and that's always a good sign. He'll have to sit out this play. And
well, he's really a backup in that secondary, but just one of those plays that he was in there.
You know, you never really want your quarterback playing defense, but, you know, at the high school level, sometimes your quarterback is your best athlete, and that's exactly what you got to do.
And I'm wondering if head coach Mike is probably saying that to himself right now. 1st and 10, Bellefonte. Huntington showing blitz with their outside. Now they back off. He's looking to throw. He's going down the right sideline. Knock it down. Price he did. Price had good coverage on that. And again, sometimes he's on an island where he's one-on-one, and then sometimes we have a safety over there to help him deep. That time it was one-on-one, but Price was with him.
Well, that's one of those balls thrown where the size doesn't really matter. It's drifting down and into the receiver. So Price is able to keep up with these guys speed-wise. It's whenever he has to jump and get higher is when he's going to have trouble. But Price is an excellent press break up there.
You're a multi-sported player. You get somebody that knows how to position your body like you do in basketball.
Yep.
And you do that in basketball, you learn how to box out. And then Price knocked it out. 2nd down and 10. Bellefonte gives it to Galashaw up the middle. He's got about 3. And Dexter. And it's 3rd down and 7 for Bellefonte.
Another score from the area. Central leads Tyrone 24-0 in the 4th quarter. Golden Eagles is Huntington's opponent next week at Gray Memorial in Tyrone, but Central leading that one 24-0.
Yeah, Central's going to be the team to beat in the league. I'm not quite sure what Clearfield has.
At this point in time, they haven't given up a point, so their defense must be pretty special because they blanked Hollidaysburg last week too. So
Hollidaysburg scored 7. I don't know.
Oh, did they?
It was 28-7, but I'm not sure if they scored off of whatever. Here's a snap back. Fake it to Galashaw. He's going deep again. Price knocks it down again. Jonathan Price, 2 for 2 here on defending the wideouts.
And he was open too. He threw that ball late. That ball should have been there a second earlier, and this is a different result.
It was underthrown. I think he had a step on Price if it was properly thrown. Bellefonte's playing it smart here. The ball's on Huntington's own 37-yard line. Bellefonte has the ball. But at 4th and 7, they're going to punt the ball and again try to pin Huntington. Huntington has nobody deep. It comes down at the 10, rolls to the 5-yard line, but nobody was deep.
I don't understand the reasoning why you wouldn't have anybody deep in that situation there, Jim.
Because I know darn well that Bellefonte's not dumb enough to run the ball there and give the ball back to Huntington.
Not in a 14-14 game, no.
So Huntington has it. We do have the ball, but we got 94 yards. And actually, Timmy.
Hey, you never know. It's,
up here in the the mezzanine, so to speak, of War Vets Field. We used to call this the Allegheny Club. Okay, we get off the border up the middle. And he broke a tackle, gets out to the 15, 14-yard line. They had him stop for 3, and he gets 9 yards on it. Not quite to the first down marker, but Ian keeps his feet moving. Yeah, the up here behind the bleachers, we call this the Bearcat Allegheny Club. And they're starting to bark down there. But when you're a head coach, you can block out that Allegheny
You don't
Club.
hear them at all.
Yeah, you don't hear them.
You don't hear them.
Still in an I formation, second down. Run the knock to the right side, and they're all over border this time.
So he's going to lose
again,
one.
This is what I'm saying last week. It was nice that you run the I and you just keep you running the same plays. But as the season goes on, you got to have plays off of that, whether it's 6 and 7 regular.
I think they need to establish a second running back here too. You know, it's obvious that Border is the man. We all fully expected that, but you got to get somebody else in the mix. Last year we had John Wagner and Ian Border, so
fake it. We're going to throw on Maderza on the left side, and he can't find him. He's sacked at the 1-yard line, and I'll tell you what they ran there. That was 6 special. They had the tight end on this side, Mike, and dragging across the field. You fake knock right. Now, if I'm to defend the quarterback here, Mike had ran his route too deep into the coverage, but he ran right by the linebackers in the corner over there, and he was open. But Andrew couldn't get turned to throw it over there, but Mike was there on 6 special. I don't know if Mike Hootie has changed the name of it, but it's still 6 special. Now Huntington's got a punt out of the end zone. He's got a high one. It's a knuckleball coming down at the 35, drop, picked up the 35, and we missed 2 tackles. He gets inside the 30. So Bellefonte has got 3.5 minutes left, and they have the ball at Huntington's 27-yard line.
I will say this, and yes, I kind of understand your perspective, but there wasn't anybody within 15 yards of Alex Mikett if he makes that catch.
Well, what happened after Hootie scrambled a little bit, the outside linebacker then ran over there. But, yeah, you're right. If he turned and looked for Alex, the only thing I might say about Alex, he might have run that 6 special too deep. You want to run it at shallow and get across the other side of the field. If everything's knocked right and everybody's going to the right, then you run that tight end against the grain to the other side. But after the punt out of the end zone, Bellefonte has the ball at the 27 of Huntington. They snap it back, give it off to Galashaw. He broke it. He broke the line of scrimmage, and Border has to wrestle him down at the 18-yard line.
Be real close to a first down here. They're pounding.
I always refer to it as a wet sheet of paper towel. You punch at it, you don't get through. You punch at it, you punch. But if you punch at it and get through that wet paper towel, there's nobody at linebacker level because everybody's up at the line of scrimmage.
It's Galashaw's 25th carry and now pushes him at the century mark, 100 yards now on the evening. So he's been punching at a paper towel all night long, and he's
not that this is the coach coming out of me, but I would just keep the ball in Galashaw's hand.
Absolutely.
And they hand it off up there. They got to push on Huntington's line. Yeah, he broke a tackle down the left side. He's in for the touchdown.
This was just a matter of time.
2:32.
That was just a matter of time until that was going to happen.
And I guarantee you Galashaw's got a dozen broken tackles. A dozen broken tackles. And now 2:32 left. It's going to come back to Huntington's offense now to see what they can do with 2:32 left. 2014, Bellefonte waiting on the extra point. And this is Chris Perisco. Kicks it up. It's high enough, and it is good. So it's 21-14 Bellefonte with 2:32 left in the ball game. And Huntington's got to come up with a 2-minute offense to work the ball down the field.
Well, Jim, we saw this coming, and we saw this coming with Galashaw and the fact that he just keeps going and going and going and going.
Yeah,
eventually, he was going to break something for, not just a significant game, but for a significant score here. And that 18-yard touchdown run was just couldn't come at a better time for Bellefonte.
I believe that they're going to bring the return guys, Glennie and Price. The kid has not been getting inside that 10-yard line. And he's been kicking the balls. I'm thinking more of the punts have been more toward the sideline. So Huntington's got 4 up at the 50-yard line, 2 at the 40, 3 at the 30. Usually the 3 people at the 30-yard line are your fullback, tight end kind of kids that have some speed and also are not afraid to hit somebody.
Well, here's where you miss, and again, graduation does what graduation does, but here's where you miss somebody like a Johnny Wagner, either in this situation from a kickoff return or in the backfield that you've got that home run hitter. So Huntington's got to make something happen.
The ball is being kicked off the left hash. They're going to pop it up. That's what I said. It came down at the 22. We do pick it up. And there goes Price and get to the sideline, the 50-yard line. 40, 35, get down that sideline. Good block. Oh, he's out of bounds. 22 almost had a decent block for Huntington, Draven Cook. But Price does get it down to the 13-yard line, and this sucker isn't over yet.
That is a 65-yard kickoff return for Jonathan Price. Huntington set up right inside the red zone for Bellefonte.
He was able to get up the middle and then saw the lane to the sideline, the right sideline, on Huntington's sideline. So Huntington has it at the 13-yard line of Bellefonte. He hands it off the border. He gets vertical. 10-5, touchdown, Bearcats.
And just like that, Huntington answers the call, Jim.
Timmy.
Here it is.
I hate to say that. I love the fact that Timmy Leitner's out there kicking these extra points. Never been on a football field before, but he is 5 for 5. And his extra points are they're true. They weren't crawling over the goalpost. So, Timmy, just keep your head down. 21-20 Bellefonte. Huntington on the extra point. Snap is good. They're going to fake it. They roll to the right. He throws in the end zone. Knocked down. He floated it. He had his man deep in there, but he floated enough that the safety went over and knocked it down. And so the gamble backfires on Huntington. They trail 21-20 with 2:16 left. And now...
Well, now you can say Timmy again because with 2:16 left, not only do you have to get a stop, but you've got to get this
onside
kick or something to be able to get yourself in position. So...
the coach in me is now looking. We got 3 timeouts. And but 2:16 left. He's going to have to let one run out and then use his 3 timeouts. Now, if they can get this onside kick, obviously it'd be nice. But obviously, Bellefonte will have their hands team out here. Hopefully, Bellefonte's coach is smart enough to have a hands team. Well, I'll tell you, they look a little disorganized. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have 12. No, they have 11 guys. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They got 10, but they are not. They don't know where they're going. Even number 5 is looking at the sideline. I mean, there is a dead spot here. They only have 1 guy deep. And if you can, again, you practice this, but you can do that little pooch kick over these guys' heads on this dead spot over here.
And he
kicks it deep to 5, and it barely goes in the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line, and it's still 2:16 left. Nobody touched it.
Well, I mean, if you had to have a second thing to do, that's it. It wastes no time on the clock. It puts Bellefonte back at their own 20. So now you need defensive stops to keep the good field position that you just gained out of that. So it is possible you get a 3-and-out here. You got 3 timeouts left.
3 timeouts. You use the 3 timeouts after first down, second down, third down.
Yep. Score in Mount Union defeats Juniata Valley 7-6.
76.
I'd also like to say hi to Danielle, who's listening in Carlisle tonight. Thank you for listening. Bearcat football on the airnetwork.net.
2:16 left. Bearcats are down 21-20. Bellefonte has the ball. They're going to try to run the clock out. In shotgun, Galashaw will probably get the handoff. He does. Up the middle. He tried to break the outside. Huntingdon runs him down, but he got a 3-yard gain. And nobody. Now they call the timeout. I'd be right by that head linesman. So Huntingdon uses their first timeout. So, yeah, Huntington's junior high team will be down at Mount Union tomorrow morning. Other games tonight, Huntington's or Bellefonte's here. Tyrone is losing big to Central. Clearfield is at Penns Valley. Bald Eagle is at Phillipsburg tonight. And Huntington next week goes to Tyrone. Two timeouts left for Huntington. .204 left. Obviously, we need 2 stops here. But you got to have eyes on Galashaw right now. And probably either this play or the next play, the quarterback may do the read play and keep it if everybody's flying to Galashaw. Second down at 6. Galashaw did get 4. There's the snap back. He doesn't hand it off. Like I said,
wow.
One of those plays, your quarterback's going to keep it. And Huntington was all over for a 4-yard loss and a quick timeout by Coach Hootie, which now only a couple seconds went off that clock. We're at 1:56. But now Bellefonte is in a 3rd and 10. And do they dare to even think about putting the ball up the air? I don't know. I saw some wacky things last week.
Well, we saw one tonight with the onside kick.
Onside kick.
Yeah,
you're ahead by a touchdown. Why would you onside
doesn't
kick?
make sense to me. So
you had momentum too.
You did, and you never know. But I think doing what they needed to do here on those first 2 plays. You know, a 5-yard gain by Galashaw, stop the clock. Now we got a sack on Gardner. For a 5-yard loss, stop the clock. Ball's at the 20-yard line. So I think they're doing exactly what they need to do to put this on. To get where they need to get to here, but you've been saying it, Timmy, and we might be seeing a rookie
Timmy
kicker
Legner
walking out here with the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Well, 3rd and 10. Where's Galashaw lined up? He's lined up behind the quarterback and the big fullbacks on the right side. There's the snap. 3rd down and 10. He doesn't. He's going to throw it over the middle. It's caught, but nowhere near the first down. And Huntington will use their final timeout. A little dump pass over the middle, which is a safe pass. You hope he catches it for 5 and runs for 5. But the linebackers were right there to stop him. So only about 8 seconds went off that clock. So Bellefonte is now in a 4th and 6 situation, and Huntington will get the ball back.
So it's exactly what Huntington wanted to do right now, and they've got time on the clock here, 1:48, no time to panic.
Fourth and clock has been reset to 1:50. Time back in as Bellefonte getting ready to come back on the field. I would assume they're not going to do anything stupid and punt the ball. All right, Huntington with 1 deep. And again, their punt situation, they have been punting toward the sideline away from the 1 guy deep for Huntington. So here's the punt.
It's a different punter,
or by Bellefonte. He got some height on it over to the short side of the field. It bounces, and they're going to touch it down at the 46-yard line. So Huntingdon has a ball at 1:41 left in the ball game. No timeouts. You like to think they practice now this stuff of running to the ball, spiking it, or what their 2-minute offense is. I used to use states like Colorado, Arizona.
I see in college they hold up those signs with the 4 different,
right?
And you never know what they mean or what they're going to do.
Central does that. You'll see Central in a couple weeks do that. Huntingdon has the ball at their own 46. We're down a touchdown. They're going to hand it off the border to the short side of the field, and they got bordered down, and he never got out of bounds.
No, he did
so
not.
The clock is running at 1:30. Huntingdon right to the line. The ball will be on the left hash. They got to the 45, which is the line of scrimmage. So it's second down with 1:20 left in the game. They've got plays on their sleeves, and they call the number. He's rolling to the right. He's throwing deep for Glennie, or Price, but it's overthrown. All right, you got enough time to try to get the first down.
So we'll see what Huntingdon comes out here with their next set of plays. But they're going to have to reset the clock. But, Huntington's not really had success in the air tonight. Their success has come on the ground, and this is not a good time. So, Jim, really, unless Border can break one or they can figure out some sort of gadget play here to be able to run.
1-1-5.
We're going to have to see what Huntington draws up here. No issue with
I'd
the
still
clock.
go short. I mean, get the first down, buy another 4 downs.
Got to get out of bounds, though.
Ball's on the left hash. Ball back to Hootie. Fakes at the border. He's going to keep on a quarterback draw and get nothing. And now it's 4th down and 8. Warner, you want to get back to the line of scrimmage. And
4th down and
one play. The clock now is at 56 seconds.
Here's your ball game.
Goes in Border. Border fakes it. He's looking to throw, but he's being tackled, and he can't get rid of the ball. And I just might do it. And on that play, on that sack of Andrew Hootie, Bellefonte will take over at Huntington's 44-yard line.
And they can run out the clock from here.
And
There's
they can take a knee twice,
and that will do it. So we'll wait and see what Bellefonte's going to take a timeout right now. But
well, the clock stopped anyway. Bellefonte's is taking timeout right now to make sure that they don't jump off sides or anything. Just take two snaps and 2 knees.
The Air Network is the home of Bearcat sports. Get set for basketball, wrestling, baseball, and softball season, plus the Pee Wee Football Super Bowl coming this fall on the airnetwork.net. Jim, this will run both teams actually even at 1-1, but Huntingdon will drop to 0-1 in the league. And it's not a good spot with Tyrone coming up next week over at Gray Memorial.
No, you're telling me.
And we all know what that rivalry has been over the last couple years.
So Bellefonte approaches the ball at Huntington's 44 in their victory formation. They take a snap, sit down on it, and they'll let the clock run. And once it gets inside of 25 seconds, they can take one more snap. And this game's history. So the score right now is Bellefonte 21 and Huntingdon 20. With Huntingdon going for 2 late in the ball game in the 4th quarter. And it was incomplete pass into the end zone. They got to wait. They're good now to take the snap, take the knee, and that'll do it. The final score is the Bellefonte Red Raiders 21 And the Huntingdon Bearcats 20.
You've been listening to Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net. We'll be back in a moment
two-time Super Bowl
with the
champion Ike Taylor, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the Ike Taylor Show beginning Wednesday, September 7th, then at 8 p.m. each week right here on the airnetwork.net. Ike Taylor and Pittsburgh sports columnist John Harris continued their 6-year broadcast relationship discussing the Steelers and the NFL every Wednesday from 8 to 9. Plus, you'll hear special guests, including current and past players, plus football experts from around the league and more. It's the Ike Taylor Show, coming to the home of the Huntingdon Bearcats, Wednesday, September 7th from 8 to 9 p.m. worldwide on the airnetwork.net.
Pennsylvania Highlands Community College provides you the option to earn an associate degree, diploma, or certificate at an affordable cost. The Penn Highlands Huntingdon Center, located on Margie Drive in Huntingdon, offers degree programs in business management, criminal justice, liberal arts and sciences, and psychology. Are you ready to take the next step on your career path? Contact Penn Highlands Huntingdon at 814-643-6200 or visit Penn Highlands Community College online at pennhighlands.edu.
Brenneman's Meat Markets are celebrating nearly 70 years in providing Huntingdon County with quality USDA-approved processed pork, chicken, and beef products. Brenneman's has 2 locations in the county where the tradition of the finest meats are found in the region. Stop by Brenneman's Huntingdon weekdays from 8 to 6, Saturdays 8 to 3. Mount Union, open 9 to 5 weekdays and 9 to 2 on Saturdays. Choose specials of $10 to $50 meat packs containing your favorite meats. Or stop by and ask about our select custom cuts, prepared and packaged while you wait. Brenneman's Meat Markets in Huntingdon and Mount Union. Call our office at 814-643-2751 for specials and more information.
Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 has served the citizens of Huntingdon over 100 years. The Moose family at 307 Allegheny Street, Huntingdon, invite you to become a member and enjoy our various social activities, including Wing Night, the 4th Friday of each month, Taco Night, and loads of entertainment, like live entertainment from Reboot on Saturday, September 10th from 8 to 11 p.m. Find out more about becoming a member of the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Check us out on our Facebook page.
And now, back to Huntingdon Bearcat football on the airnetwork.net.
And welcome back to War Vets Field. Chad States here along with Jim Zauzig. The final score of tonight's ball game, Bellefonte 21, Huntingdon 20. The loss coming by virtue of the decision to not kick an extra point. That might have had the potential to tie up the game, to go for 2 late in the 4th quarter, and Huntingdon unable to respond with another score to be able to make up that deficit. The Bearcats will now drop to 1-1 on the season and will travel to Tyrone next week. Bellefonte will also go to 1-1 on the season, and they will go to, let's see here, they will play Phillipsburg Osceola next week. So, Jim, thoughts on the game?
Not many. I came down on that extra point where they decided to run a fake extra point and not get it. And Timmy Leitner was solid kicking the ball.
Yeah,
but, you want to take a chance, you take a chance. But it backfired on Huntingdon there. They did have they did show some big plays out there, but their cover teams hurt them a couple times, especially in the first half, covering the punt, covering the kickoff. And anyone got away from them in the second half too. So they still have some things to address, and this is no time to be playing Tyrone and Central in the next 3 weeks. But it ended up 21-20. Bellefonte the winner, and like Chad said, both teams go 1-1. Big football weekend, but not off to a good start here. Juniata plays at Grove City tomorrow, and of course a big schedule in college football tomorrow with 8 big games there, 9 if you want to include Penn State's game. And so football's off and going now.
Some final statistics here. Ian Border leading the way with 151 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Bearcats. Hooting 5 of 9 for 57 yards in the passing game. The big one coming to Glennie, 1 catch for 39 yards for 1 touchdown. For Bellefonte, we look over them, Galashaw had a whale of a game, 123 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. And hats off to Chase Gardner again, the second week in a row, throwing for over 100 yards. He was 11 of 16 for 127 yards and 1 touchdown. So that'll do it for Moore Vets Field. This is Chad States and Jim Zauzig as the final score, Bellefonte 21, Huntingdon 20. Thanks a lot for listening to the airnetwork.net. This has been Bearcat Football. We'll return next week as the Bearcats get ready and travel to Tyrone against the Golden Eagles. Have a good evening.
Thank you for listening to Huntingdon Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Huntingdon Moose Family Center, number 223, the heart of the community. Also by Penn Highlands Community College, located on Margie Drive, Huntingdon. By the Huntingdon County Drop-In Center at 512 Washington Street, downtown Huntingdon. By Brenneman's Meat Markets, with locations in Huntingdon and Mount Union. And by former Pittsburgh Steeler Ike Taylor of the NFL Network, coming to the airnetwork.net every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on the Ike Taylor Show. Join Chad States and Jim Zauzig again next Friday night for more exciting Huntingdon Bearcat football live exclusively here on the airnetwork.net. Thanks for listening.